And a big welcome back. A big end of lockdown welcome back to everybody. This is Pixels and Pints. We're back recording. We're still doing it remotely because you know what? I don't want to tongue kiss Pete yet. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. Sorry, mate. Dan, on the other hand, fucking lather me up. Let's go. Yes.
Fuzzy face.
Moustache. Yeah,
Wow.
moustache is touching. Just a little bit of forest fire going on. But Pete, sorry, mate, you got to wait.
What a start!
What a start. My name's Tom.
I haven't had an outbreak in months.
Sure. You just haven't had to tell anyone because you haven't seen anyone.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's a technicality. We love the technicality button.
He gets itchy crotch in lockdown. It doesn't bother anybody.
Yeah, that's it.
No, exactly. It's just himself. And yeah. Anyway, I'm Tom, by the way. Welcome to Pixels and Pints. I'm here with Dan.
Hi.
And Peter.
Hello.
I am repping my still Han Solo-esque lockdown haircut here, which is actually, when I look in Dan's screen, I'm seeing myself in the poster
The
behind you.
background there? Yep.
Yeah, it's just like... I'm just...
And you don't look like
handsome-
Caspar. That's good.
Well, I redecorated my study.
It looks nice. It looks really nice.
I got rid of the black backdrop. So, this cupboard that was here, we had a second one behind me, and it was mirrored in the middle. So, and I had a whole bunch of crap on top of them. So I got rid of one. I've got a lot more room. I've got my my Beskar armor just here. I've got my my 3x3 beautiful X-Wing playing mat hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to have to take that down because it's rubber backed, and I'm not sure that's going to do real well on the paint for very long. I've got my blaster and my my vibro blade hanging in the middle, and
I love the style of that vibro blade.
and my special edition
Guitars.
Star Wars re-release poster. So I'm quite
cool.
happy in my study these days.
I did actually get a message from my sister the other week. She was at Mum's helping her do a clean out because Mum's doing like some renovations, and she was going through like the basement, and sent me a message, and all the message had was, "Do you want this?" And it was a photo of the VHS Return of the Jedi Special Edition.
Hell
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't even have a VHS, but you need to send that to me right away. And she's like, cool, I'm just looking for the other two because I know we had them. And I was like, yes, we did fucking have them. Find them immediately. Otherwise, it'll be snicky, snoy to your like kneecaps. But
I've still got the gold foil box set for that when he first re-released it.
Yeah,
The
well,
THX
yeah,
enhanced.
I think these. I don't know if they're gold foil, but they definitely had a gold edging to them. But no, it's that exact same artwork on the A New Hope release.
Yeah, well, that's that one. That's the special edition re-release. Yeah. So I've got 3.
That's when they first put the Jabba the Hutt scene in A New Hope, where
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
steps on his tail, and
Where he's
even
not
I
a
get
dude.
bored sometimes. I've been dropping so many Han Solo quotes in the last 2 weeks because of this hair change, and Emma's really sick of it, but I'm not. I'm loving it.
Right.
Yeah, that's my life at the moment.
and we
but yeah.
interrupted Tom's intro, which he never actually finished.
No, I
Yeah,
did
so
finish it.
Who are we and what are we here for, Tom?
Oh, they know. We're Pixels and Pints. We're here to talk about beers. And actually, tonight, as a special request for one of our newest listeners, I have cracked a cider as my first drink. Actually, a guy I went to school with, one of my best mates, Patrick. He lives in Scotland, and he's really recently got into listening to our podcast because he's a big gamer. We raced finishing Skyrim together when it first came out. He was on PC and I was on PS3, and obviously he won because he had a faster machine. But Pat, for a long time, only ever drank ciders, so I promised him that I would do one. I meant to do it last episode, and I apologise, Patrick, but I've done it tonight. But yes, we're going to talk about beers and a cider. We're going to talk about a lot of pop culture. We're going to talk video games. We're going to talk just a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, it's pretty game heavy, I think, this episode, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
Before we get too deep, before we get balls deep, I just
What are we
wanted
drinking?
No. I just wanted to mention that we've just been randomly tweeted from at Feedspot blog, informing us that congrats, Pixels Pints, your podcast has been selected as one of the best Australian pop culture podcasts on the web. So thank you very much for
Thank you to
all
everyone who
your
listens.
support.
Everyone
No,
who
I mean, it
watches
is built
Yeah.
on listeners, right? So thank
It's
you very
fucking
much.
cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I think they rated the top.
strange.
Sorry.
Strangely surprising. Happily
Yeah.
surprising, I should say.
I mean,
Yes,
I'm not surprised.
pleasantly
I think we're pretty
surprised.
good. We're pretty good.
But it was so it's a top 20 list, and we made number 12.
Yeah.
We can crack the top 10.
great.
I believe in us.
Yeah.
Pete, you'll be very happy to know, and this is another shout out. My good mate Gordo, who has been a regular listener to us for the last couple of years, he has switched. He no longer listens to us. He now watches us exclusively while he's
Good
riding his
man.
bike. So he's got a bike set up in during lockdown, and I was just at the pub with him as celebrating getting back. So we went down to the Union in Newtown, had a few very tasty schooners, but he has set up so that he sets his laptop up in front of his bike. He's got a bike set up takes the back wheel off and puts it on basically a treadmill.
Yep.
And he's been watching us instead of listening to us. So
I've actually been getting
thank you, Gordo, for tuning into our YouTube as well.
Yes, thank you. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on the new structure too. So, which is awesome in two ways. First of all, it's awesome we're getting good feedback about the structure, and it's also awesome I'm getting feedback at all because our listeners are notoriously silent. So,
No one wants to talk to you.
if you're interested, we actually now have a Discord server. So if you want to chat to myself,
Oh, is that the thing you sent the other night?
yeah,
Right, I didn't look at it.
hopefully Tom will join it, so you can talk to two of the three hosts. Dan's a bit of a Luddite, so I don't see him joining it anytime soon, but we'll see.
I will join it right now. Right now, I'm going to go find.
Don't do it while we're in the middle of the show. But so if you want
I'm updated technology.
if you want an invite to the server, just hit us up on any of our social media, which is sprinkled throughout all the notes from the show on the audio version and the YouTube version, and I'll flick you an invite to our Discord server. So you can talk some
far
shit,
back
and if
in
you've got
messages.
feedback, if you've got ideas for topics for us to cover, beers for us to cover, you'll get announcements. It might even send you links to the video version of the show a day or two before official launch. So, yeah.
Oh, Discord.
Anyway.
There it is. I found it. I had to look through two different chats.
Cool.
Oh,
So enough
yep.
of self-spruiking.
I've just had a thought on Tom talking about ciders. When we used to make cider, we used to get apples from a cidery called Small Acres in Orange, and he used to do some really incredibly interesting Brett ciders and a few other really sort of traditional French funky things. So I'm just on their shop at the moment, so I might grab a couple of he's got a fortified cider and another one that's I probably could click on it and go into the description of it. Oh, yeah, so here's the traditional... Yeah, okay. So this would be the French-based country house-style cider. So this would be very...
Good old Scrumpy.
Brett-based kind of flavours. So I might grab these just something different for when we meet in person. Why not?
Actually, one of the best tastings I've ever done with a producer was the Hills Cidery from Adelaide. Came up and did a rundown of 30 different ciders. It was at the Australian Heritage Hotel on the Rocks. I remember sitting down there, and they pulled up 30 different styles of cider. They started with the ones that are pure fucking compressed apple juice that is just sugary fucking hits. Taste like shit and ruin your entire palate. Had a couple of their own ciders, and they had a couple of other really good cider producers from Australia. Not limited to, they had obviously their own stuff. They had Kaiju do their Golden Axe, which is a very delightful cider, one that we often have on at the pub. Willie Smith's is also probably one of the other best cider producers in Australia. I'm myself right now, so I am drinking... I did not just silence my phone, sorry, that was a lightsaber. I'm drinking the Colonial Bertie, which is their cold-pressed apple cider from Victoria. And it's crystal fucking clear. It's got a little bit of apple sweetness to it. They say it's from a fruit concentrate, but it's really, really bloody nice. Reminds me a lot of one we used to get, which was the... Willie the Boatman, actually. They used to do the Rachel cider, which they had cold-pressed apples that they got in for that. And it wasn't too dry, but it wasn't super sweet. It didn't kind of ruin your palate for the night.
Yep.
You'd have one or two just to refresh yourself. The Colonial Bertie is one of Emma's favourites, and it's probably my go-to hangover cure. Is I have a can of that, and it's got a little bit. It's only 4.5%, I think, or something like that. 4.6.
So it's called the Colonial Bertie?
Yes, there you go. It is the Bertie.
Oh, Bertie.
Colonial Bertie.
By whom?
Colonial Brewing.
That makes sense.
I already said it four times.
Not Bertie the colonialism guy.
No,
who's
I
coming
thought
in and just
I
ruining
thought
nations and all that kind of stuff.
I thought the name of the beer of the cider was Colonial Bertie. By a brewer, not by Colonial
Bertie
Brewing.
would probably be like some weird
Whatever.
old-timey figure with a big fucking moustache just coming in being like, drink apples, that's all you're
It'll
going to
be a
drink.
ladybug with a moustache and maybe a top hat and a monocle or something.
Yeah.
Bertie the
But, no, Willie Smith's is a great cider producer. I would highly recommend if you guys haven't tried them.
Cool.
But yeah, and Hill Cider. They do some really good... They're 8% and they really hide the booze, but they have some excellent like mixed fruit ciders. My favourite is always the apple and ginger. We used to get kegs of that all the time.
Cool. Yeah, before we run too far on more cider tangent, I want to get Dan's and my beer out of the way, because what I tend to find is...
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Because I display the name of the beer, and it's literally up there for 15 minutes while you're talking, and then it's like 2 minutes for my beer.
I was just shouting out to my mate, Pat, come on, let me talk to my friends.
fucking with you, man. I don't really care.
8 years. Oh, God, I miss him.
Okay.
Anyway.
I miss Tom too.
Oh, no, he's ex-Kiwi. He does not talk like that. Yeah.
Right.
He's like, oh, cider. I'm not going to try
Tom,
to do his...
Tom, let's be honest. No one in Scotland talks like my shit accent. So.
the guy on the Uncle Toby's Oats ad might.
Or the chum dog food. So
yeah,
chum can
carve it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Dan, what are you drinking?
I have Boatrocker Big Shot. My camera's picking them up really well tonight, which is good.
Yeah, you don't have that giant black screen behind you, so you're not
so it's contrasting. Yeah, it could be that. Imperial Coffee Brown Ale. So I ducked into Quaker Cellars, Q Cellars over here.
Yep.
And as soon as I walked in the door, Wen's gone, Imperial Coffee Brown Ale. And I've gone, no worries. So I grabbed...
That's awesome. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah. Which is exactly what I need at the moment, because I am absolutely wrecked. So I cracked this while as soon as you popped your face on and Pete hit that timer, I had beer in hand. Beautiful. It's a really well balanced brown ale behind
Boatrocker. You'd expect it, yeah.
Yeah, behind the coffee, and it's got Colombian heavy roast coffee in it. And it's a really dark roasted coffee flavour, and I think this is going to sound really dumb, but probably not to you guys. The coffee character in the beer, I feel, is coming mostly from the coffee, not from the dark malts used.
Malts.
It's a very different coffee character. It is very a high roast coffee character, something that you don't really get from malts. There's a touch of malt sweetness to it, and when I say a touch, it's not sweet in any way, shape, or form, but it's just really well balanced off there at the end, just to sort of round it out, and that is an absolutely fucking cracking beer.
Yeah, cool.
I recently followed Q Sellers on Instagram.
8.5%.
Purely because obviously you guys used to talk about it so much, because that was where we used to go for the beers, but I've been looking at their range and the photos they've been putting up. They've got some fucking cracking beers going on.
Q-Seller?
Going through. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
Very impressed. But like, I just like, I don't know if it was not necessarily directed at them, but I remember like Dan being like, I didn't have, maybe it wasn't, you didn't have time, but you're like, oh, there's no good craft beer places out your way. But if like you can duck over to Q-Seller, they had an absolutely cracking range from what I could see.
Oh yeah, they're pretty much all the time, unless you get them in that in between delivery days, because we are so far out. You get them in that in between that delivery days, and they just sometimes are smashed, and there's fuck all left in the fridge. And not their fault at all. I mean, they're selling the stock.
No, that's a good sign. That means they're busy. Yeah.
It's just the only other bastard of a thing is it's a shit of a car park when it is when that place is busy. So lockdown has been fantastic because there's been no one in there, and I can
and
just
fuck me, there's some bogans in that car park.
Yeah,
too.
it's a little bit better than it used to be, but it's pretty full. You try and get in there on the weekend, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So
not a thing.
I park out on the road half the time and just walk up through the car park to get in there. But yeah,
the last time I was there, it was after COVID started, so not that long ago. There were about 15. Let's call them youths, all standing around.
Oh, those
all standing.
youths.
I'm feeling a bit old, but they're all standing around their 4 HSVs with cheap, shitty Oz tire fucking chrome mags, revving the tits off it, sitting in the car park laughing with each other. And it's like, I really hope I was never that guy.
Funny you say
probably
that.
was.
When I went in there last week, there was someone with a done-up Holden that was having serious...
They're not tastefully done.
They had serious issues trying to park the car. It was...
Oh, really?
Yeah. He must have got... And it was... I couldn't work out what on earth he was doing because he or she... I shouldn't have been sexist there. I didn't see the driver, but they looked straight in the park to me and I was behind them, almost directly behind them, looking at them, waiting for them to stop bloody going backwards and forwards in the car park and just turn the fucking car off so I could drive past. And
So it was just doing the...
crazy.
There's tasteful... You can do up your car tastefully, but not these guys.
Peter, what are you drinking?
Yeah, so I'm...
Because that was a weird face you just pulled.
Oh, that's not a good face. That's not a good Peter face.
So I'm trying to figure out why I have this beer. And I don't mind naming them because I'm not going to...
you bought it.
It's not a name and shaming. Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out if it came in one of the beer cartel packs recently or if I purchased it as an individual single item in a larger order.
Right.
Because I'm fairly certain it's only been in my fridge for about 3 weeks. It's Wildflower's organic table beer. But I'm just reading it now because it tastes like... Oh, no, it's okay. April 2021, best before July 22, 2.9%, and I think it's infected. So when I poured it...
How many Wildflower beers have you had, Peter? This is not
Plenty.
being,
He's had quite a few.
not being a put down. Yeah.
I've had plenty, and I've been there a couple of times, and so I understand.
I remember
the
Topher going on about he had, but Topher's probably one of the most honest brewers you can get in terms of when he has an infected brew, he'll put on his Instagram him dumping an entire, and he did it plenty of times during lockdowns where he had a brew that just it didn't go the way that they wanted it to.
Yeah.
And he would show you dumping it. So I wouldn't
I've got
say
a lot of time. I've got a lot of respect for the guy. I've read a lot of his articles and stuff. But look, all I can tell you is when I poured it, it came out clear, and then a bunch of cloudiness came out towards the end and just kind of dropped through. That's why I was holding it up to the light early, because it's very, very cloudy. But it didn't start that way. There was like a suspension that kind of clouded through, and it tastes absolutely nothing like beer. It's like watered lemon juice. It's got a really long, bitter palate, but that's all that's in it. There's no sourness. You don't. You know how it's lemon.
I don't think it's meant to be. It's not really meant to be a sour. It's a pure table beer. It's just a wild fermented table beer.
Yeah, no. There's no hops. There's no malt body. There's nothing. It's like drinking lemon juice that's mildly diluted. I've never had a beer like it.
Oh, no. I mean, the Wildflower table beer is not like any other beer we really would drink.
But I've had the Wildflower table beer at Wildflower. So I'm a bit confused. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right.
Interesting.
And I'm wondering whether or not I sink pour it. Mind you, I'm the sort of weird fucker who would literally get those squeezy bottles, those yellow squeezy bottles of lemon juice and drink them when I was a kid. But this is not enjoyable.
That is very weird. That is very weird.
I wish you guys were here in person to taste this so you'd be able to tell me immediately, because this, to me, is not... I love Wildflower beer. They do a fucking amazing job of putting out, and particularly being a sour lover, to me, this is not a representation of what I expect at a wildflower. So I hope that there's something wrong with it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's not that it could just be this particular batch, but I know tofu is there. That's the worst face you could ever make.
It's hard not to.
No. But those guys, like, and I'm not one of those wildflower junkies, and I know plenty of them because they're the guys who have cupboards full of wildflower in their house. I don't. I think like I don't have a current beer by Wildflower in my house. I'm not a Wildflower junkie by any standards, but I know how much quality control they put into those beers. They wouldn't have sent that out if they didn't think it was
I actually
up to
thought I'd
scratch.
fucked up, or Beer Cartel had sent me an old item. I misread the side, and I thought it said it was it expired in June 21, but it's June 22. So I don't know. Maybe
That's
I'm
a shame.
just
Yeah, no.
my
Like, 'cause
palate's just not
I know that
sophisticated
table
enough.
beer, and that table beer is fucking cracking. Actually, you know what? This is actually really cool. I know that the Red Bottle in Alexandria, which I go to all the time, has the cans, because I looked at them the other day, and they're from probably the same batch. Maybe I'll grab one tomorrow and check, and I can message you and just see.
Yeah, because to me,
it could be that 1 in a million thing, but like, and this is not
I
to
wish
blow
you guys
smoke
were
up
here, like
Topher's
I said.
ass, but yeah, I know the quality they put into their control of those beers. He wouldn't have sent out an infected beer, at least.
yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, it smells very Bretty, which isn't unusual for a wild fermented sour. It's not unusual for wildflower specifically either, but the flavour, it's not. Yeah. So I'm going to sink pour it and move on to my second beer. So give me a second. You guys continue talking. Sorry. I feel guilty about it because
I've only sink poured 2 beers in my life, and they were purely infected. I'll just finish it. Maybe I'm just that cheap or whatever, but I can't bring myself to sink pour beers.
I've seen
It's only
3 in
2.9%.
the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's only 2.9%, so there's no alcohol content in it that I need to chase down.
It's not
And
bad. It's
I've
just,
got doubles
I
for my
know
last
the work
2
they
beer.
put into it, and
Me too.
I can never bring myself to like. It has to be a particularly bad beer for me to sink pour it.
To
But
me-
no, I 100% I respect your judgment of that beer. That
And you
if
know what
feel the need to.
And you know how much
But
I
also
love my sours.
Skull it. You would have done it. Do it. Skull it right now. Do it.
It's
Don't
going to
be
be
a
like
bitch.
drinking lemon juice.
Do it.
And he's going to spit it
All right.
halfway across the room.
Are you guys going to keep talking while I scull this?
He's gonna gag on it halfway down and just
Wouldn't be the first time he's gagged on it halfway down. Oh!
Oh well.
Yes.
Well,
Here's to Peter. He's true blue.
pinch the nose, Peter.
Oh, well
Oh.
done. I'm going to move into some news while Peter gets his second beer
And
probably
his
has a glass of water.
drinks half a
to
bottle of
reset his
Gaviscon.
palate.
I've got my second beer right here. That's okay.
lovely.
By the way, people,
Um,
we do promote responsible drinking. Please do not scald your beers.
No, that was 2.9%.
Yeah, I
was
know.
like,
Also, none of us have a
Responsible-
liquor license on
responsible-
this, so I am not going to do my responsible service of
Responsible
alcohol.
service of alcohol.
Drink as beers as many as you want. No, I'm bad influence. That's me. I'm going to move
I
into
am
some
going to go
news.
wash my glass while you talk news.
You do that. I'm going to talk about the... Yeah, so we were searching news today. It's another pretty slow news week.
You need to talk about these. I'll have comments, but I'm reading the run sheet, and I know nothing other than the bottom one. I know nothing about any of them. So
Yes, so
fire
Disney
away.
and Lucasfilm. I saw this today. I think it was announced yesterday. So this is via IGN. I found this article. So Disney and Lucasfilm have announced the Bring Home the Bounty, which is a massive tie-in to Mando. In fact, if you go onto the StarWars.com website and you look at this particular thing, and we could probably put the link up there. I'm sure Pete can get it for us.
You talk about these things while there's the person controlling that side of it's not around.
Yeah. So they're doing a 12-week promotion. Every week they're going to announce a new deal or like a new something, whether it's an announcement, a deal on their web store or whatever. They're doing a new thing every week. Mm-hmm. It ends on December 28th, which happens to be the date that Book of Boba Fett launches. Also happens to be the date that I can claim my long service leave with the pub I'm at. So what a day for Tom.
What a day.
So, but then each week so leading up to it, if you look at the website right now, it's just
Yep, I'm looking after it.
weeks 1 through 12. You can click on week 1 because they've announced it, which was the Stormtrooper helmet. And they did a bunch of the newer characters, so Mando, Grogu, Ahsoka Tano, new Boba Fett, get their retro style, like the classic 80s kind of figures.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah, so they've done it that style where it's literally like the arms move, the legs move, but they've still got like that's the only movement point. It's not the new style figurines which have like 32 articulate points or whatever.
And they really have gone retro because they've even got them standing in how they would have had them posed on the advertising in the 80s with the very
they've done this with a few of them recently, so it's a new thing that Lucasfilm are bringing back.
Oh, they are pretty too.
They are very pretty, but yeah, so they've all been dropped on. You can get them, a bunch of them on StarWars.com. But then, so week 2 has Mando's helmet as like the bounty puck image.
Yep.
So it's literally, if you're thinking of the first episode of Mandalorian, when he puts the bounty puck on the table, and it just shows the dude's head. It's literally like that, kind of like a light thing. Yeah, the hologram. So first week was a Stormtrooper. So week 2 is Mando's helmet. Week 3 is Bo-Katan's helmet. You got Ahsoka, Captain Rex's helmet. Then you have an image of Grogu in his little pram pod. The week after that was the Tusken Raider. After that was a Gronk droid, which was wrapped up in like a present box bow, like the traditional like.
That's Christmas week or something,
kind of,
is it?
Well, that's December 7th. So, that's December 1st would be that one. So it's probably the start of like the Christmas season, I guess. December 7th had the Lucasfilm logo, but it had a 50 years of Lucasfilm. So I imagine there'll be a bunch of like announcements that week.
Yeah.
But it's the week following that, which just had a image of a game controller. So everyone's going, fuck, there's going to be a new game announcement that week. So that's going to be December 14th. Which is exciting. So I don't know, a lot of people like reading a bunch of articles on different websites. Everyone was kind of looking at Jedi Order 2, whether it's more about the Ubisoft game that is based in open world Ubisoft game based in the Star Wars universe. If there could be more about some of the other projects they've kind of sidelined, haven't spoken much about. It's also getting very close to the end of EA's run as the official Star Wars game kind of
partner.
What a shame.
Or
partner?
IP holder.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So
They've done so much with Battlefront. They've really pushed the envelope.
I gotta say, Battlefront 2 by the end, I fucking loved, and I would happily go back and play that. But that said, Squadrons was a piece of shit.
To say that EA has changed the face of gaming with Battlefront, I would actually say they have, because the whole loot box controversy has definitely changed the face of gaming. So,
it really has, yeah. So, you
true.
know, so that was the second last. Then they had 2 crossed saber hilts. I thought one looked very much like Mace Windu's saber, but the other one looked like.
Allow us to compare
about it.
It's the High Republic.
The High Republic, the broadsword one.
Yeah.
It seems to be one of the lead Jedis in those stories. His hilt kind of falls down, kind of similar to Kylo Ren's, but instead of being 2 blasts of lightsaber out the side, it's actually like a proper hilt. And then December 28th was the last.
That is the cross lightsabers.
That was Book of Boba Fett. Well, had Boba Fett helmet, so I think it's also the launch date of Book of Boba Fett.
I think you got it around the wrong way.
No. Week 11 is I'm literally looking at it right now. Oh, yours is different.
Oh yeah, yours is different.
Is that a save page?
That
that's not the web page, Pete. That's a save page. Go to StarWars.com.
Yeah, go to StarWars.com. Anyway, I pulled that off that. So Boba Fett's helmet for me was
I'm on StarWars.com and
they've changed that.
I know. I'm on it. I'm on it on my other screen. And it's
what is this? StarWars.com news. Bring home.
No. That's news. Go to the actual page, like the home. Go to the home page, and then there's an explore when it comes up. Bounty. Yeah. Now explore on the left hand side. Under the left hand side.
Our listeners don't really care, but
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the way I saw it today on this is through their Twitter feed.
Same website and two different versions of the same image.
It's got to be Boba Fett's helmet has to be December 28th because
You would think so, 'cause that's when they're-
that's the launch date of Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so super exciting. I like to see what they're going to bring to that. What some of them mean. What's the new game controller going to mean? Are we actually getting a new first person or third person Star Wars game, like a proper story based Star Wars game? Like we're overdue for one.
When's Coda 2 remastered due?
Oh, it won't be.
Sorry, Coda.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, so it's not that.
ages away.
What makes
Okay.
looking at all these? I mean, few of these make complete sense. The Stormtrooper, the original retro styled figures. The others, Mando, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Rex. You could almost say.
I reckon Mando's going to be a season 3 release date, maybe a trailer.
It's the one that confuses me is the Tusken Raider on week 7. It's the
So I have a theory about this. I reckon it's going to be something about Obi-Wan's series because he's on Tatooine and there's that Jedi, was it Shahad Hutt, who becomes a Tusken Raider but still keeps his lightsaber. So he's the Tusken Raider Jedi Sith, for lack of a better word, Grey Jedi, I guess, for those playing at home. I reckon it might be. Maybe it's saying he's in that. If he's in that, then fucking I am turgid, absolutely turgid Tusken Raider for that.
Yes.
Don't look at my gaffy stick.
I think you're exactly right. That's what it'll be. It'll be Obi-Wan.
That'd be awesome if they're bringing him in. The Gonk droid wrapped up in a bow. It could be anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably most excited about the idea of a new game coming out. I reckon the 2 cross saber hilts will probably be a bunch of new comics or books related to the High Republic line or that they're doing. 50 years of Lucasfilm will just be a celebration thing. Captain Rex, maybe more animated Clone Wars if we're good. If we're good little boys and girls, we might get that.
2, trailer for Bad Batch 2.
Oh yeah,
would be
with
my
more
guess.
Captain Rex.
With more
Yeah.
Rex, yeah.
Fuck yes. Anyway, Bo-Katan. Mando Bo-Katan I think can lead into anything to do with season 3 of Mando. Ahsoka will be the Ahsoka series, I reckon, because they've already talked about that. But exciting. We get 12 weeks of Star Wars Christmas. So colour me excited.
Very cool. Before you move on to the next piece of news,
yes, chef.
I just wanted to introduce my replacement first beer.
Excellent. Please do.
It's my first beer, so we'll be having 5 in total. And that's because I planned a sink pour, but some fucker dared me to scull. So this is a spectacular...
Who was that? Sounds like a really nice guy.
Spectacular sour. This is Currumbin Valley Brewing Co.'s Blackcurrant Pastel Sour Ale. And it is...
Is it as heavily fruited as I think it's going to be?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like Ribena juice.
Holy shit, that is dark as hell.
Let me show you with a light behind it.
Currumbin Valley won the Gabs beer 2 years in a row because they did that bubblegum beer and it was just everyone fucking loved it.
It's opaque. You can't...
Yeah, you can see that really well, yeah.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
It is really... If you like Ribena, this is Ribena juice with just a sourness to it.
Yeah,
And
nice.
Obviously, it's carbonated. It's spectacular.
I was lucky enough to meet the brewer from Currumbin Valley once. Not in person. We did a lockdown trivia together for the Crafty Pint. And
cool.
we both just got really drunk on camera while the other person absolutely schooled us all in their answers because we had no idea. And so we just started going beer for beer without the owner, the person running it, knowing. And he then looked at us and was like, "What have you two done?" And we're just like, just very drunk in the background.
Excellent.
But he
Not
makes some
promoting
cracking
responsible
fucking beers.
choices, are we?
So
this episode.
I've just stumbled
It's
on... sorry, continue. And before we move on, I've just stumbled onto a little piece of something.
I mean, that was it. So what have you stumbled onto?
I've just stumbled onto the... I'm going to butcher this guy's name, so I fucking apologise. Let me even find where his name's written. I know who he is. God, I can't even pronounce this. It's on Den of Geeks, and the guy that's in the Indian guy that's in the Eternals is going to be in the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, Jai something?
No. Oh God, now I've got to find
The comedian.
Yeah. Kumali. Nanjiani. Nanjiani?
Kumal Nanjiani, I think is the one.
So he's let some things slip that he's going to be in Obi-Wan, and the speculation is that he might be an unwrapped Tusken Raider, which could lead into the Tusken Jedi you were just talking about.
That was Shahad Fett.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
That's cool.
He'd make a great Shahad Fett.
He's just
Shahad Fett, for those from memory, Shahad Fett was a Jedi who left before Order 66, so he left the Order, ended up landing on Tatooine, joined the Tuskens, and kind of not took revenge, but he got the story of the Jedi who slayed the Tuskens. So Anakin, basically, he was the protector of the Tusken Raiders because they feared that Anakin would come back after he killed the women.
That's cool.
Not just the men.
That's an interesting
children.
dynamic as well, having someone there
permanently
to
changes the culture.
Protect someone from Anakin, and having Anakin's master / trainer there, and that would be a very, very interesting dynamic if that was the story that they would introduce there, because there would be huge trust issues.
In the Star Wars comics, he definitely fought Obi-Wan at some point.
Yeah.
Well, there'd be a lot of... I mean, it'd be pretty powerful as a message back to Obi-Wan of, look what your apprentice did. You permanently changed the culture of this people, and I'm here to protect them from...
Yeah.
And what he did under his tutelage as well, because that was Attack of the Clones, so he was only a teenager at that stage. So it's that would be an incredibly interesting dynamic, and two fantastic actors going head to head.
I really recommend looking up on, even if you just read on Wikipedia, just his page on Shahad Fett. He's got some cool stuff in terms of him and his fights with Obi-Wan. Yeah.
I'll pull the comic run up on Comixology and have a read of that.
Yep. Yeah.
I loved him in Silicon Valley.
Never seen it.
You will.
He's funny in it. He's so funny in it.
His stand-ups are very good as well.
Yeah.
And he has what's the movie? Stuber, the Uber movie.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if you've seen that. It's him and Dave Bautista. Fucking hilarious. I really recommend it.
Oh, I've seen the trailer for it. I have actually. Yeah.
No. Watch the film.
Okay.
Emma and I watched it a few weeks back. It's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
I think it's on Netflix at the moment. But yeah, it's very good. He is blunt enough to deal with like Dave Bautista's like kind of charm. It's just they work very well together.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, do. I really recommend it. Anyway, next bit of news.
That was item one on the news.
That was item
38
one.
minutes in.
That was a big one. It was. That's Star Wars is always a big one for us. This one's probably more focused towards you, Peter, because you're the big PSVR guy. Because I still haven't bought one.
I'm just going to rinse my glass out while you guys do this one.
But PSVR just turned 5, or it's about to just turn 5. I got conflicting messages. I couldn't see what was the actual date that it got released. Someone could probably look it up.
It'd depend on what country you're in.
Yeah. PSVR is turning 5. So as a kind of happy birthday to PSVR, is in November. If you're a PS Plus subscriber, they're going to give an extra 3 VR games. They haven't announced which ones they are. But
do you like my little note in the run sheet that I added in for you?
Bringing the total, yeah, I did like that. So, the first one's the Batman game where you use the Batman VR, yeah.
Bringing the total PSVR game count to 4.
Yeah,
fucking talk about an awesome platform, the most cost-effective way to get into virtual reality, with the least amount of fucking investment from AAA titles.
Yeah,
like it continues to disappoint me because the experiences I've had with PSVR have been amazing. And the only thing holding that platform back from really taking off is that no one wants to invest money in making really good games for it. Full respect to indie developers, right? Some of the best games I've played have been indie. Offbeat.
They did announce the top 5. I meant to put it in there. Sorry. The top 5 PSVR games. I know one of them was Skyrim.
Yeah. Which is no surprise
Beat
whatsoever.
Saber. It was Beat Saber was one. Right. Resident Evil 7 was the other one. It was Skyrim, Beat Saber, Resident Evil 7. There was one of the other like PlayStation ones. I think it was like an Astrobot thing or something.
Okay.
No, the Worlds, PlayStation Worlds.
Yeah.
Through the PSVR. It was like
don't
it was one of the
remember
ones
it.
you like got with it. And then there was one other, which I didn't recognize. But yeah, they were the top 5 selling PSVR games.
Yeah. Skyrim by a country fucking mile. That game was brilliant. Cool.
That's how I get to sleep some nights. If I can't go to sleep, I put on there's a bunch
PlayStation
of them on
VR?
YouTube. No,
Must be
the Skyrim ambience kind of music. Put it on the background. Knocks me the fuck out.
That Skyrim theme song is still one of the best fantasy game theme songs out there.
Not, I mean, it's not my favorite Skyrim track though. If you listen to one, there's The Wind Guides Us and then Aurora. They are the two for me that just encapsulate the Skyrim experience. Highly recommend those ones. I love walking to them. And the last bit of news, good old Captain Kirk, William Shatner, has become the oldest astronaut to fly into space at 90 years old because he jumped on one of Bezos' Blue Origin rockets. And he went into space for 10 minutes.
He's already done it, has he? I knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
I just didn't know he'd...
No, so it was on Tuesday morning, I think,
Okay.
when they did it in American time. But yeah.
Excellent. No
He
more...
boldly went where no man had gone before of his age.
Of his age, yes. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That
well
he was-
deserved too.
Yeah.
And you've got to guarantee that he was in the rocket being like, well, we're going to go up into the stratosphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many...
I hope they gave him like the captain's speech to like read, like, well, we're going to be cruising at 300,000 miles, and
yeah.
really hope they
that's
gave it
awesome.
to Shatner so he could just do it in his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's the last bit of news I could find that really appealed to us. I thought Captain Kirk going up into space, I thought that was really fucking cool. He deserves it. Of all the people, deserves to go to
Fucking
space on fucking Bezos the dickhead's rocket. Yeah, you fucking come at me, Bezos, you fucking penis head. It deserved to be Shatner. Yeah, after everything he's done.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good. I don't want to say this because I don't want to lose him next week, and I don't want to jinx it. But it's a good. It's a good bookend to his life.
Oh dear. Well, you just
Yeah,
condemned
wow.
him to a quick death, didn't you?
I
Burnt up on re-entry.
I apologize, Mr. Shatner.
Well, Daniel, I have to say that I don't agree with your outcome.
Assessment.
Yeah.
I'll find it, I'll tell you. I have to tear another damn hole in this universe.
Captain's log.
Ace Ventura has a lot to fucking answer for.
Definitely.
I'm moving on to my second beer.
Yep, me too.
Yep. Daniel,
I'm going to have to go get a second beer. So while you guys talk about
third
yours,
beer, technically.
bullshit. While you
Scully
guys
boy.
talk about yours, I'll go get another one.
Okay. I am having, which I'm very excited to try. This is from Brewtal Brewing in Queensland. I'm having their Brisbane River Brown, after the famed river that runs through Brisbane, and I guess it's a little bit brown. I haven't been to Brisbane in fucking years. Has a very cool little hoppy shark eating a growler on it logo. I think that's
Nice.
That looks sick. It just says it's canned at Newstead Brewing Co. Sorry, that's the brewery. Oh no, it's Brewtal. Brewed and canned at Newstead. There you go.
Yeah, well, Brutal's a gypsy. So the guy...
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't...
Don't look at the label.
I did know.
Don't.
I did know his name. I'll tell you something about labels in a minute. I did know his name, and I have met him. I very much apologise. I have met these guys, but Ben from Scratch Bar and Netherworld, they're all good friends.
That's where Judd. This is from. So shout out to my mate Judd, who he's also a writer for Crafty Pine, amongst all the other things he does, because he's a man of many talents. He brought me this back from his last trip to Queensland to go see his folks. He was the one who introduced me to I think it was either Brewtal or Newstead. They did a beer called the Leshy. And it was had the logo on the artwork on the can was of a Leshen monster, which we see in obviously Witcher, especially in Witcher 3, which was this big barrel aged, delicious, malty, fucking beast.
I think it was Brewtal because that was on at Netherworld for their
I'm sure it would have been
monster,
but very, 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 very tasty beer. Judd's a big fan of these guys because he grew up in that area. He brought me this back and we did a little trade. I gave him some beers. He gave me one of these, and I'm gonna dive into it. I love a brown. I'm a massive brown ale fan.
Yeah,
I'll fight people over brown ales. If there's like one schooner left of a brown ale on a tap at a bar, I don't care if it's a grandmother. I will punch her out so I can get it.
I think I'm definitely going back.
Well, I joined at a good time.
I think I'm definitely going back to get some more of that Imperial Brown. But when I got all of
this
these...
is cracking. This is a smashable... I could skull this. I'm obviously in a mood because I had a few beers before we got on this. This is a beautiful brown ale. It's got a nice malt character, a little bit of sweetness from it, a little hint of coffee. Not like an overpowering coffee, but like that dry roastiness you get from that coffee kind of malt is right there. Beautiful, very well done. So thank you, Brewtal Brewers, Brisbane River bound, delicious.
Yeah,
Shark Week, yeah, Shark Week.
I grabbed another 4-pack of the Buffalo Brown Ale, the Akasha one.
The Akasha one. Yeah,
getting my
that
beers
is
tonight.
Cracking.
Yeah, I turned around. It was there in the fridge again at Q Cellars because the Akasha stuff because they have Akasha has a whole row, so it's opposite the singles fridge at Q Cellars. So I turned around and they had restocked their brown ale, so I grabbed a 4-pack of that at the same time. I was
very happy, so I got to re-tap all the Uncle Hops lines the other day. In preparation for opening next weekend. So we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for another crack at it. But of the 12 lines we have, I think 9 are browns, porters, or... Sorry, it's less. It's seven of the beers... No, 6. 6, so it's half the taps are browns, porters, or stouts. They were the kegs that kept during lockdown that we kept in the cellar.
Of course.
Yeah. But I've got... a keg of the barrel-aged Stone beer from 2020.
Yep.
From Stone and Wood. I've got their new Stone beer from 2021, which is one of the last independent beers they brewed because they sold out like a bunch of dickheads. No, joke. I just jest.
Surprised you had that opinion, actually.
I didn't, actually.
I've tempered my opinion over the years on that topic, but...
No. Good on them. If you're making money, you're making money. I can't fault you on that.
And they've obviously learned from... The big boys have learnt from their mistakes in the start where they're acquiring craft beer houses and fucking them, because they've since acquired a bunch of independents and they're still putting out the exact same quality beer.
100%. I my only thing that will gripe me about Stone and Wood selling is if they stop the Jasper Red Ale, because that is the beer I have every year with my dog Jasper as his birthday celebration beer. We have Jasper Day, and I crack one of those. If they stop that, then I will march up to Byron. I will set fire to the brewery because I know it's made entirely of glass. So it'll just melt into sand. But yeah, I'll have a
not sure you can melt glass back into sand, but carry on.
Watch me. My fury will know no bounds. Right. But yeah, and if they stop the Stone beer, because I thought that is such a cool idea of doing it. Like the Stone Beer Festival has such a following around it, like putting those volcanic rocks in. But yeah, I've got that. I've got Capital did an Augustus Gloop chocolate porter, which I'm super excited to have. I got a keg of that, and there's a bunch of other dark snake. But I did get some fresh hazies for all the haze boys out there. You're welcome. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to reopen.
I can tell. Dan, have you talked about your beer? Did I miss that, or are you about to load into it?
No. Sorry, Tom's been banging on about his brown ale.
See, this is what I mean. 15 minutes of Tom's beer up on the screen in the video, and then 2 minutes for you and 2 minutes for me.
Because clearly, with my Han Solo hair, I'm the prettiest on the camera.
At the moment, you're all blocky.
Yeah, I could pass as the Chewbacca. I won't even call him a sidekick. I could pass as the Chewbacca partner in that
You're
one.
210 years old. You look
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, no.
I've got a bit of a B cup going from COVID, so I guess I'm Leia.
I'm drinking a Garage Project because I am a Moondog and Garage Project whore. This is the
Aren't we all?
electric acid test.
Oh, such good beer.
It is. It's strangely clean, and the acid in it, the sourness to it is. As a counter to your bad lemon juice flavor before, Pete. This is very lemon juicy, and it's incredibly balanced and like just really really clean, and just the flavor expression there. It's a dry hopped acid test. I'm struggling once again because of the light in here. But when Pete's talking about his beer, I will get through what it actually says. Oh, Ella, Waitiki, and Sapphire hops. Okay. It's not. Okay, so yeah, it says floral. I was just about to say it's got a very florally character to it. Floral, grapefruit, lemon, and spice. I would agree with all that. I would say the lemon definitely overpowers everything else, but the floralness is there as well. And
So to be clear with mine, also
and smashable.
I'm gonna have to turn you down if you keep deep throating that mic.
I'm not. I'm literally like an inch away from it.
You're clipping at the moment. Anyway, I'm not.
Pete and his fucking
I'm not
deep throating.
It's my powerful voice.
Me and my desire for high quality, even if the content's shit.
How dare you?
I'll put this down here. How's that?
That's much better. That's perfect. That's perfect. So I'm not drinking a beer. I'm smoking a J. Because that's what I get out of this beer. It is.
Oh, okay. That was a mislead, right? Copy.
So fresh.
Pete was going to be real mellow for the next conversation about Days Gone. Just being like, yeah,
man. I just ride around on my Harley.
It's a drifter bike, or
dude, if you got any munchies. No, so this is Mountain Culture Scenic Route, which is a perfect lead into the conversation about Days Gone. I love the can art. It's really cool. And it is a session IPA. It is the most hop-forward session IPA I have ever tried.
It's delicious beer. That is one of my favourite Jasper walk beers. When I take Jasper for a walk, I go down the Scenic Route session route. Yeah. Love it. Smashed it.
It's fucking great. New World hops give this beer a juicy, citrusy kick with the haze we all love, while a smooth mouthfeel gives way to a clean, dry finish. Scenic Route's low-key ABV is perfect for when you want to slow down and take in the view. 4.4%. I don't want to pour it in my glass because I've just had a Ribena juice beer and it really fuck with the flavour. But this is brilliant. As a 4.4% too, it has a full dry body for a relatively low ABV.
As a bit of a mountain culture whore, if we're going down that route,
I just think we're good craft whores. Can we just agree?
I mean,
we definitely have our fans between us. We definitely.
True.
Sorry,
true.
I do have
really,
my own
really
fans.
weedy.
No, that's disgusting. No, but I have smashed. Luckily, I'm right near the Union, who is one of the bottle shop and bar fanboys for Mountain Culture. Yes, Luke, I'm talking directly at you. But
not to you, at you.
At you. So I had 4 schooners before I came onto the podcast down at the pub. I went to the Union. 3 of those were Mountain Cultures.
Yeah, right.
Like that's the tap list they had.
I've never had a beer that tastes this close to weed. I'm allergic to marijuana, so I'm. This is about as good as it gets for me.
Find ones that are very, very close that you're just like, oh, hang on, is there weed in this beer? There have been a few beers that I've had, and Emma's like been smelling it like across like the living room, being like, "Are you drinking weed?" And I'm like, "No, I'm drinking this beer." And she goes, "Holy shit!"
We have talked about hemp beers at one stage, I'm sure.
Hemp's very different though. Hemp's the seed. And the
Young Henry's did a hemp IPA. Yeah. It was great. It was very good. But yeah, I've been very lucky to have a shit ton of the fresh mountain culture beers. In fact, I bought a brand new one today, which was called Betamax. And my nan who was, God rest her soul, she got to 98, but she had a Betamax up until the day she died.
Wow.
And we sold it. We sold it to a collector for like $1,000. Like, and it came with like
Not
two or three.
surprised.
Yeah, they chewed it up. But yeah, we were watching it like, I remember like going to her house, and we hooked it up. We tried to hook it up to her like brand new flat screen TV that we'd bought her to be like, hey, this one's a digital TV, so you get all the new channels when they change over. When like the analog digital change happened a few years ago, and we luckily got one that still had the old red, white, yellow like plugins, so we could plug it in. And she was like, yeah, okay, do you guys want to sit down and watch your old Betamax videos you used to watch? And it was Sooty the puppet, the little puppet.
I love Sooty and Sweep.
Yeah, we had Sooty.
And
She had
Matthew.
Sooty Betamax.
Was it Matthew or was it Matthew, or he had some weird version of the name Matthew?
I think, I think it was
like
Matthew,
Mattow or something. Matthew.
Yeah.
Or, anyway.
But yeah, she still had some Betamaxes of Sooty, so we sat down and watched them with her. But they've been churning out absolute cracking beers the entire time. But that said, the Scenic route is still, as part of their core range, and they've got that new kind of core range brewery they got down in Emu Plains, which is massive. It's one of the biggest kind of craft production breweries I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's huge.
But if they keep churning out that quality of session IPA, then I will be buying 4-packs of it every other week for years to come. Like it's so good, it's so tasty. But it's one of those ones you can have 2 or 3 while you're doing stuff or taking the dog for a walk, and you get home and you're like, sweet, I can do something else. Like it's not going to ruin you, but you still get the taste of something that you reckon would be 7.6% or something. Like
it's really
DJ
really
is an
darn
absolute
strong.
wizard, and he's a deceptive wizard, and
Deceptive wizard.
Deceptive wizard, and I kind of hate him, but I love him so much. But it's just like, how are you so good? Like.
So I've changed the order of the run sheet on the fly. So because we're 56 minutes in and we haven't even hit a proper spotlight topic. So I figure we'll get through the 2 little bits that we had. We'll take a break and then we'll get into the big topic for the show. So cool with everyone?
That is cool with me.
Sure. Do I need to refresh this so I know what I'm looking at, or what?
Yeah. No, basically, Pete's going to talk about War of the Worlds. Pete, talk about War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I
I'll do
can
this.
go to my Bonanza.
Yeah, do that.
Mine
How
still
good
says Days
is
Gone, but
Lockdown?
What?
I fucking love Lockdown. I'm probably one of the only people who loved it, but I will say it out loud. I fucking love Lockdown.
Yeah.
I wasn't stuck in the pub for 60, 70 hours a week serving people who didn't appreciate my anything.
Your anything, your personality,
Anything
your
about
throbbing
me.
erection.
My throbbing erections, my face, my attempt at a moustache, my,
Richard Cheese music playing in the background. Your
No, it was
selection
always
of
dad- it was-
exclusively
no,
brown beers.
I could never put Richard Cheese on the pub. I tried once and I got shut down. My Han Solo haircut, it was just...
Anyway,
yeah,
this is how we end up at 58 minutes without a topic. Let's go.
Yeah, but luckily, thanks to lockdown, and I'm weirdly about to say thanks COVID, and I'm not sure if that's the right thing to say, but
Maybe not.
I got to play
No.
a bunch more video games than I ever got to play in the last 10, 15 years. So I had a bit of a video games bonanza. So over the lockdown period, which ended Monday, I successfully started from scratch, platinumed 13 games. I started and finished 1, but I haven't platinumed it. And then in the day following, my first day off following lockdown, I smashed out a 3-hour platinum for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer because it was just so easy. I was like, I remember all these tracks. I can smash it. Yeah. It was great. I fucking loved it. I have not had that much absolute game time in so long. I needed it for who I am as a person. It really reinvigorated my love of gaming. I when they were like, oh, you can go on a picnic now, I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I could also play 8 hours of Days Gone. So
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Fuck the park. Fuck the sun.
Yeah, no,
Fuck the
I didn't
birds.
need sun. I am white by nature, so I don't need sun. I get 10 minutes. That's enough because otherwise I start burning. So the list of games I finished in those couple of weeks. So what is it? 13, 14 weeks or something?
14 weeks.
Yeah. Over 100 days.
Yeah. So I started and finished the entire Spyro trilogy at the beginning. So they were, which I think were amazing, like, what are you going to call it? They built the game back from the ground up. So they were the original PS1 games, but they built them from the ground up for the PS4. So that's what I would consider a standard for a remaster.
Yeah. It was a remake, not a remaster.
But that's the thing.
Wasn't George Lucas putting the original celluloid film through a bath? They actually reshot the movie.
Yeah, 100% from the ground up. But I think so many people throw out this remastered idea, but it's a simple port, like more than anything. But they built these games from the ground up. It was beautiful. It was PS4 level graphics from a PS1 game. You could play it with some PS1 graphics in it, and it didn't fit. It just looked so clunky. But I remember playing Spyro 1 when I was younger, but I never played the trilogy, and it's like it was a cool thing to see, like how an early studio really developed their gameplay over those 3 games, because they went from having a game that was just go into this level, finish the level, collect the dragon, you're out, and then it was like, maybe do a bunch of other things while you're there. And then the game 3 was almost like an RPG where you had to like complete quests for people and like do all this other stuff. And it was also the early 2000s, I think, when that came out. So there was the obligatory like skating level. We had to like Spyro on a skateboard, and you're just like, why is the dragon on a skateboard? I then jumped into Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which was the new PS5 one. As I've already previously talked about this on the game on the show, it was amazing. I'm 100% still going to go play that again. I haven't had a chance to because I've just been churning through a bunch of my backlog. Both Bioshocks.
Actually, the original or one of the previous Ratchet and Clanks is in the PS catalog for free.
That is the kind of remake of one of the first Ratchet and Clank games, which they redid for the PS4.
Right.
100% recommend.
I've never played a Ratchet game, so I've added it to my collection.
I love Ratchet and Clank. It's a bit cartoony, but it's Insomniac. They have handled... They did Spider-Man, and they can handle that mature content as well, but they can also do a really, really fun, visually pleasing, cartoony
it's
style
just
game.
a fun, arcadey looking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I played the remaster. I played some of the original Ratchet and Clank, not too much of it, but then the remastered one for PS4 was good fun. Really, really
amazing.
Good.
Yeah. I've played.
I'll probably play that as a palate cleanser after Days Gone.
It's a really good palate cleanser, Pete. Like, so after you get out like a big meaty game, you go into that. It's super simple. You smash through it. There's a bit of like, but it's simple third-person shooter graphics
as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's enough content in it. Like, it's a good story. I then jumped into the Bioshocks, which if you haven't played the Bioshocks, I highly recommend. They're mind fucks. They are mind fucks. Like, the first one is the darkest one of all. There is some fucked up shit in that one. The second one, I don't think I really connected with as much because you play as the Big Daddy, and so it doesn't feel as a personal, like, kind of human connection that you do from the first one, where you are just a guy that gets brought into that, like, kind of utopian world and what they can do, but it's gone all fucking pear-shaped.
You just reminded me, sorry to interrupt you for a second. When you said
right.
Bioshock, you just reminded me, I did read recently that, who's the studio? Binge is bringing a live-action TV series based on System Shock, which is a mid-90s game that I think we all, well, Dan and I certainly played. It'll be interesting to see how that turns into a live-action, because it's a pretty fucked up horror series of games.
Bioshock's like a mix of like horror, first-person shooter. So you have some abilities in your left hand, but you predominantly shoot with your right hand, kind of thing. Like,
System Shock was one of the original FPSs. Yeah. Like it was,
and this first came out on the PS3 was Bioshock 1, and they've remade both Bioshock 1 and 2 for PS4, and then the Bioshock Infinite. No, that was PS3, and then they remade that for PS4 as well. Bioshock Infinite is one of my all-time favorite games. I fucking love that game.
Never finished it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So
I've got it in my
Bioshock
Steam library on my PC.
Oh, you've got to do it. Bioshock 1 and 2 focus on being in this underwater city. So you always feel like in Rapture, yeah. So you always feel closed. You're always in like tube tunnels going from place to place. And then, but it's that classic like early 1900s architecture is throughout. So it's kind of the, bit kind of turn of the century kind of.
I better not start installing it now. Pete might get angry if my internet starts to screw up.
Yeah,
but
and to think I was worried about the storm that just swept back through for like the 5th time today.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my power to go off the way that's going.
Yeah.
But anyway. Bioshock Infinite is you talk about the city of Columbia. So Rapture was under the sea. Columbia is a city in the clouds. It is very rooted in like the original American, like it's so pro-Americana. It's like sickening at times. It got heaps of like that pro-American Catholic overtones, which make you hate them more because, I mean, that's my view, but I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not. It's supposed to be.
But one of the best things, and it's one of the greatest, not one of the greatest, sorry. It's one of the most enjoyable parts of that gameplay is you get this thing called a skyhook. And so the city's in the clouds, and to get from little bits of city to little bits of city, they have these like rails, but you can just jump off and on them using this like thing. And I think it's one of the things like, oh my God, it's magnetized. That's how we get along these things. And it's like, so it's that classic like World War II voice. Yes, because the magnets and they're turn of the century. Yes, do this and shoot them. But it's so good, and it's by the end of it, it goes in this entire like, and this is like not really a spoiler because they talk about the whole way through, but it's focused a lot on parallel worlds, and the end is fucking mind blowing, and it's like when you actually stop and think about it, you're like, holy shit, like. It gets so deep, and it's just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of like stuff they're talking about. In like the last like 15 minutes of the game is just one long extended cutscene where they just go in. Oh, you were going here? Oh, okay, we're gonna go a little bit deeper. Oh, just a little bit deeper. Oh, just come on, just a little bit deeper. And it's just like by the end of it, you're just like, my brain's melting out my ears. This is great. Thank you. This is enjoyable.
The ending to the like original Bioshock, if you didn't go into that game knowing what it was. That was a complete mindfuck. And
100%.
And then just
they pride themselves on the mindfuck at the end. Yeah.
I don't think I've played any of them, to be honest.
Oh, Pete,
I'll have to check.
You treat yourself.
How many games are on your list out of interest, Tom? Because I think we're up to...
If you could, if you please, could you play Bioshock, the original?
Okay.
You can get the remastered trilogy on the PlayStation Store at the moment.
Okay, why are you fucking with me, Dan? Like I can tell you're fucking with me. Am I going to need my brown pants?
No,
not really.
It is a cult classic game too. Like the
I'm
amount
halfway
of
through,
culture.
Pete. I'm halfway through. It's 7 out of 14.
The amount of pop culture. Fucking, we don't have that sort of time here, Tom. The amount of pop culture references
as much time
to that.
as I desire.
Oh, sorry.
The people will listen
Pete,
to me.
Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Would you kindly play the original?
Hey,
would you kindly play the original Bioshock?
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly?
Yeah. You're not going to get it, so don't worry. But would you kindly play the original Bioshock?
Anyway,
shall.
Bioshock games. If you haven't played them yet, please play them. I'm going to race through the last ones, Pete, for you. I've talked about Darksiders till the end of time, but I replayed 1, 2... Then I finally played Genesis, which is the 4th in the series. So I've already finished 3. Skipped to the 4th. It's the twin stick shooter. It takes a real little bit to get used to, but once I got to it, I was like, yeah, this is cool. It's not the Darksiders 4 I wanted.
Yeah, no.
I wanted a Gears of War style cover shooter. Because Strife has his twin pistols. That's what I wanted. And I didn't get it, but I still enjoyed it.
And you had the same problem as I did. You kept it. You mentioned in the chat that you kept wanting to rotate the camera.
Yeah, you can't rotate the camera on the map, and it's fucking infuriating. Because you're trying to... You've got all these collectibles to find, but you can't rotate the camera to find them.
Yeah, that would be fucking annoying.
Yeah. But it's a complete mindfuck. Because it's a twin stick, and not many of us play... We don't really play the
Not
twin
anymore,
sticks.
no.
And
no.
so but I mean, a lot of the twin sticks that are out there are quite open areas. The Darksiders Genesis can be quite.
they're like Diablo dungeons.
Yeah, the topography can be
right.
quite strange, but you can't rotate the camera to see the cliffs from the other side. You walk behind a cliff, you get the outline silhouette, so you can see where your character is.
Yeah, yeah.
But your brain, because of all the games we play, your brain says
Just turn the fucking
rotate the camera. Push on that stick to rotate the camera.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can't do it. I then smashed through the last two of the Tomb Raider series, which I have spoken about before, which I did apologise to Lara for being a bad archaeologist because she fixed that in the third one. And then
Learnt the
Kena
error
Bridge of
of her
Spirits.
ways.
Kena Bridge of Spirits is fantastic. I highly recommend it for everyone. It's fucking hard. I've never failed that badly at a final boss battle, but it's done in such chunks, and there's no save points, so it's very old school gaming.
Yep.
And it's frustrating, but then once you get it, you feel that utter sense of like, I am the fucking boss. Sorry, Jasper, there's food arriving.
Right.
And then my last game I finished, which I thought appropriate for kind of
Lockdown?
semi-zombie apocalypse lockdown, was Days Gone. I finished that, which we're going to talk about later.
Which is going to be
Because
like the second half of this podcast, I think.
because it's we slept on. Dan's the only one who played it before we all jumped into it, and it was a mistake. And then in the last 3 hours of this morning, I smashed out
your
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
I'm sorry, if you can platinum a game, did you start it and platinum it in 3 hours?
Yeah, because I'm that good. I have to say, there was one thing about... So, it was a pure nostalgia trip. Because I had this game on the N64. It was also my 64th platinum, which I thought was very... that was kind of cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
But I don't know... Did you guys ever play it when it came out on the 64?
Yeah, I've played at 89 quite a bit.
So there's a bit when you finish a race, when you win the race, you go to like the kind of 12 races you had in the thing, and you can scroll down and see what their times were if you really care what the AI is doing. But the whole time Watto's singing the Cantina Band theme, and he does it in this like weird like dun, 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 dun. And like I guarantee you, if I end up with some like degenerative brain disease with that, the only thing I can remember is one thing. It's going to be that. It's going to be Watto going.
Going to be
that has lived in my mind already for 20 years, rent free. Like it's still in there. I've definitely hummed that around the house, and Emma's like, "What the fuck is he doing?" And I'm just like, hey. It's like the weirdest way he does it. But yeah, that is stuck in my brain. It also made me go on this big rant in my head this morning about how no one ever remembers the Cantina Band number 2 song. Everyone thinks of the first Cantina Band song, which is that. But then there's also the second Cantina Band song, which I think deserves more credit than it's worth, because that's pure jazz right there. That's a whole nother
podcast.
Whole nother hour and 12 minutes.
Not another episode, it's another podcast. It's going to be... Okay, so we're going to use that for the break theme music for the recording.
I'll record it because it's one of my favorite. It's long. It's like good 10 seconds.
No, you're just going to do that just for 5 seconds or so. So I'm going to cut you off. Are you done with your fucking your trophies? Is that all your platinums? That's an impressive list. 14 platinums in the space of
14 games in 14 weeks is pretty good.
That's pretty fucking good.
That's a game a week. Starting and finishing. Like, imagine what I could do if I had that much free time all the time. I would be a PlayStation.
Not extremely constructive, but yeah.
Yeah, like being single isn't that much fun, Tom. Like, it's a good balance. It's a good balance. So I watched... I want to talk quickly about War of the Worlds. My bladder's about to explode, so I will keep this short. Thank you for taking all the oxygen, Tom. War of the Worlds Season 2. War of the Worlds Season 2 just wrapped on SBS. I was a bit concerned in the middle about where they were taking the series. And I'm trying to keep this spoiler-free, and I've kept the first one, the Season 1 spoiler-free as well. You guys really should watch it. It is exactly our style of atmospheric science fiction, what the fuck, lots of what the fuck moments, post-apocalyptic world, but with a dryness that you only get out of a BBC style, telling. And it's also BBC.
Is this your Doctor Who fix without getting Doctor Who?
There is no Doctor Who anymore, mate. We don't talk about that because it's just until they fix it, I'm not fucking interested. They announced that Jodie Whittaker's, I think it's October, might be the end of this month or might be the end of next month, but she's coming back for the next season. I was like, yeah, delete next email, not interested. Let me know when we're up to the next Doctor, which I'm hoping coincides with a new write-up. If you look at War of the Worlds as a movie or as an original story, a bunch of aliens come to invade the fuck out of Earth, kill a bunch of humans, and eventually die from a virus, right?
Yeah, don't they originally get the flu?
Yeah, they get a cold.
Yeah.
It's colonialism in a nutshell, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You just need Morgan Freeman at the end
Except
and the star with the water drops.
Except the invaders are the ones that die, not the ones they invade.
Yeah.
But this is the BBC one, which is
it's French and it's French
there's
and
an Australian
English.
actor in it. Who's the doctor? He's been in a bunch of shit.
It's Gabriel Byrne, and he's Irish.
That's it, Gabriel Byrne. Yeah,
and he's I thought he was
him.
Welsh.
I fucking love him.
He's
maybe
he's UK, but he's not English.
Yeah.
I probably just offended a bunch of people there.
We probably all did.
Yeah.
I've got to say, season 2 was brilliant, and there was a plot twist that lasted the whole second season that ties back into the original telling of the story, like it involves a virus, but it involves a bunch of science fiction themes that I never would have thought to see. And you do spend a good solid half to 3/4 of the second season going, what the fuck? Are they really going to go here? And then by the end of the season, they go there. And it's actually a really, really well thought out twist. They're doing a season 3. It's already renewed. I'm a little bit concerned that they've kind of told the story now. And I think season 3, unless they do something new and exciting and different and unexpected, if they just try and just keep milking the cow, it's going to be unfortunate that they didn't just wrap after season 2. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last episode with storytelling through episodic content without serializing the content.
Yeah.
The other key thing that we didn't talk about, and we're not going to talk about now because my bladder will explode, is knowing when to stop. It's really fucking important. If we start to think of TV series as a storytelling model that delivers a message or it delivers a story, don't just keep going.
No, that makes
Finish
sense.
the story and then fucking wrap and move on to the next project.
So
Which I think Mando's doing just quietly.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
We're only doing, I think we're only getting 2 or 3 seasons of Mando. No, 3 seasons of Mando, and then we're done with Mando.
They're definitely doing, well, they were trying to divide it into books so they could go and they do the Book of
the Book of Fett. Yeah,
but the Book of Fett. And, yeah.
That's a different story that's interwoven into the fabric of Mandalorian, but there's no more Mandalorian.
It's that branching arc. So I guess my question is, obviously, I don't know if you guys have ever listened to it, but I loved the original prog rock opera.
I grew up on it.
Yeah.
My mum used to put it on along with Ziggy Stardust and the Spider Monkeys from Mars and a shit ton of Janis Joplin. I grew up with all that shit.
London.
That's why I like.
Carrie. That's one of our favorite lines from it. But how much, how far do they stretch that part of the story over the seasons? Because that was the main plot of the movie. Wasn't
within the first 4 episodes of season 1, there's 10, I think, in the season in both seasons. There might even be 8. Within the first 2 or 3, everyone's dead.
Cool.
So and that is a difference between. I mean, the new Tom Cruise or the retelling of Tom Cruise, everyone dies pretty quickly. And certainly in this BBC drama, everybody dies very quickly. But it's not a bunch of aliens coming to Earth in tripod machines and killing everyone. They whack everyone with a electromagnetic pulse that's specifically tuned to the human brain and literally just annihilate all human life.
That was track 2, wasn't it? When they used the electro sounds they had in the back in the 70s, and it was like bidoo bidoo bidoo.
You've got a good memory for it, and slightly drunk enough to be singing it.
I don't love rock opera, but I love that rock opera.
Yeah. We had it on LP, so we were playing it on the Technic stereo system. So there's a bit of nostalgia for us
if it's
oldies.
on Spotify, I know what I'm listening to tonight when I go to bed. Just or tomorrow at work. Just yeah.
All right, I think we're going to take a break unless anyone has anything to ask me about War of the World Season 2.
I do, but I think I need to
Ask me.
start it. No. I want to start it first, and I think that's. I'm really struggling for something else along those lines. And I know you keep telling me, and I watch a lot of SBS, and
Foundation.
the fucking ads keep coming up. I don't have Apple TV, so when
Right.
Foundation's done and all on there, I'll get Apple TV, and
We could go and get a marriage license or some sort of spousal license, and I could share my Apple Family subscription with you, and you could just access it from me.
I'm not sure how to take that. I'm not sure what.
I mean, he could also
I don't know
just-
how to
I could
access-
just TV.
I don't know when
I
I want
get
to
TV,
access things from Pete. Anyway,
It's also, I'm sure, Dan, given that retail stores are reopened now, there's going to be a lot more PS5s in Australia and in Sydney specifically. So once you get your PS5, you can get a 6-month Apple subscription.
For free.
That's the only reason we've got it. And
That's the only reason you bought a PlayStation 5. Are you really claiming that on
no,
a
I said
recorded
that's the only
medium?
reason I've started watching Apple TV.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that
because
makes
I
sense.
fell asleep during Foundation. I don't think I'll ever wake up to watch the rest of it, if I'm going to be
Oh,
completely
really?
honest.
You're not going to watch it?
It's too dense. It's like the
It's-
densest fucking sponge cake that I've ever waded
It's-
through, where my
it's
grandma looked at
space-
me being like, please eat it.
It's space opera. Like, it's proper space opera.
I know I should. I know I should. And I don't mean to take this away from you, Pete, because I can see how good it is. But it's just... It's the thickest fucking fog that I've ever had to wade through, is that show. Like, the fact they just keep talking
Don't
about
watch it
maths,
drunk.
it really
Don't
really
watch it
turned me off.
drunk.
Well, no, I've learnt that the hard way.
yeah, twice.
Yeah.
No, only once.
Oh,
only
okay.
once. I've never gone back. We smashed through Ted Lasso though. That
you
was
owe
good.
it.
But yeah.
You owe it to yourself to give it another shot when you're sober and awake.
No, Pete, I promise you, I will give it another shot. But if I can't get through that first 2 episodes, I will
math
rewatch the
stuff
first
is
episode
done.
because
The
I
math
was
stuff
I
is
was
done in the first episode,
good because that really fucking turned me off. Like,
but
it didn't.
it's the foundation of his mathematics being able to predict future events is the core seed that starts the entire series. The rest of the series is about those events.
I like that you
unfolding.
use the word foundation of his maths. Yeah, nice.
I didn't even mean to do that. All right.
Okay.
You go, P. We'll be back in 5.
Yeah.
Well, in instant, basically, for the podcasters.
Hey.
And we're back.
And
probably-
That's Cantina Band number 2, by the way, for those that are playing at home.
Be slightly more inebriated.
I'm just singing.
Let's get through. Let's get through trailer trash really quickly. There's only one trailer I noted.
Yeah, it wasn't
and
much.
I watched lots of trailers.
Can I just say we're doing trailer trash. We have all missed the and it's mostly the same footage. The 2 new The Batman trailers that came out like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
No,
only a little.
I thought we were waiting for DC Fandom for.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we need to wait for some new bits. They were only sort of just cutting little bits and pieces in, and
Yeah.
but it looks great. But anyway,
It's like there were no games trailers, but like the Square Enix Guardians of the Galaxy had a new like release trailer that released last week, but it was just more of the same. It's
Yeah.
like, we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
And they did the same thing for June. Excuse me. So the final June trailer is out, and it's a lot of the existing footage we've
I
already
did
seen
see a good
cut together with
shirt
some.
the other day around about June, and it was come surf the what's the planet, the
Arrakis.
come surf the Arrakis dunes, and it was a dude with like a rope through the like the worm's like mouth, and just like full like
Cowabunga, dude.
yeah, just
doing
full, like
the-
some 80s like metal in the background, just like a shred.
So the only trailer I noticed was
surfing a maker.
yeah, Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
So this is the new movie.
I
Isn't
don't
it?
know.
Yeah,
Yeah. It looks very authentic to the original game that I played on PlayStation 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1.
PS2?
Res 1
One.
was PS1.
Yeah, PS1.
Yeah. It reminds me a hell of a lot of that, to be honest, and I suspect that's the design.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, it's a combination of Resident Evil 1 and 2, because basically those games run simultaneously anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the walking into the mansion, going through those front doors, the hallway is the rose-coloured glasses memory of that's what it looked like in the original game when it fucking did not look anything like that. But
the brain zombie thing coming, like the first time you get attacked by the brain zombie thing, I can't remember what they're called now.
I don't know what any of them are called.
Was inside Raccoon City Police Station from memory. There was the long hall in the police station, and you had the thing scrambling along the fucking roof.
Oh, you mean
the
like
ceiling.
the skinless ones?
Yeah. So the
Sounds
trailer's
like my ex-wife.
quite good. Not sure what to make of that, Tom.
Just on the roof. Oh, no, never mind. Okay.
Crawling along the roof. No, looks good. I mean, it looks true to the original story. Hopefully we get a better story than the Scarlett Johansson.
Wasn't
Is it
Scarlett Johansson?
No, it was
Mila Jokovic.
Mila Jokovic.
It was multipass.
That was
Multipass.
Multipass.
chicken good.
Give me the cash.
That was an excellent. That was
I'm
great.
I'm just disappointed that I
Take
can't
it.
buy the cigarettes.
I don't need it.
I'm
Multipass.
just disappointed I can't buy the cigarettes with like that are 9
I did
tenths
ask.
fucking bucks.
Yeah, mostly filter and a little bit of cigarette.
And there's like 4 pop down into the little air tube, and it says, "Remember, quit smoking today," or something like that.
I did ask for one of the first people that walked into Batch. I asked them. I was like, "Oh yeah, I just need
for their multipass.
I said I need to see your check-in and then your vaccination certificate." And they said, "Yeah, cool. So here's one and here's two." And I was like, "Ah, good, multipass." And they didn't get it at all. And I was like, "Oh, it's fine. That one's just for me."
Yeah, next time go with Corbin Dallas.
Yep.
Oh, that guy was that was Chris Rock, wasn't it?
Corbin Dallas.
Yes, that was Chris Rock. Yes.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. It's such a good movie. I tried to show
Ruby
my
Ross.
I tried to show. That's it.
Ruby
That's-
Ross? I'm sure it's Ruby Ross or something like that.
And Bilbo. Bilbo's the priest at the start. It's Bilbo Baggins.
Oh,
Ian Holmes.
Aziz.
It's
Light.
not Chris Rock. It's Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker,
yeah,
sorry.
Chris Tucker.
And
Yeah.
Gary
Aziz
Oldman's
Light.
Gary Oldman's the villain with the melting
Fucking love
melting
it.
hair.
Yeah, the one that you told me my hair looks like that.
Emmanuel
And I was
Zorc.
right
y'all.
because there was one particular episode where you looked like Gary Oldman from The Fifth Element. You'd like somehow
gonna say, that is a-
slicked it all together into like one big fucking clump.
Pete,
I was just waiting for it to melt.
Before you cut your hair, I need to make a fucking clear skull cap with just the bit down the middle, just so you can pull your hair out and flop it over like get a Gary.
Yeah,
Oldman
we'll
skull
chuck
cap.
some tar in it so it can melt on the side one episode. Yeah.
It's such a quotable movie that
Yeah.
movie as well.
Yeah.
I tried to show. In
I
fact,
often
I've got to
sing
say,
the opera just at people in the streets.
The weird electro
complete
opera
with
that
the like weird jolty dance.
was
turns into fucking like dubstep halfway through.
I tried to show my ex-girlfriend that movie, and she lost interest in the first 15 minutes, and I really questioned the relationship. I think I should have just called it there. That should be the new litmus test. If you can't sit through your first sitting of The Fifth Element,
If you can't watch The Fifth Element,
it's probably not going to work out. It's also probably not going to work out.
We still use to this day and I'm pretty sure Louise said it to me yesterday. Whether the light goes on or off, it's Aziz.
Aziz light.
And we don't even say light. It's just Aziz. And if the light is on or off, you know you need to turn it on or off.
Yeah.
It's still that
Yeah.
is how you turn a light on in our house.
Such a good movie. It's so
you
much
should,
better
you should
than
program
her
that
showing
if you get a like a
an
Google
Alexa.
Nest unit. Yeah, like a,
You can rename. You can rename the Alexa wake word, so
Yeah.
you can change it to Aziz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much better. She was so much better in it than in the Resident Evil movies. I'm looking forward to the new Resident Evil movie, and that's it for trailer trash.
Yeah, I mean, I
So-
haven't watched the trailer, but I saw some little shorts from it. But it looked
It looks good.
It looks good.
It
It had
looks
the-
good. I hope it's a seat of your pants thriller. That's what, or scare, like scaro sci-fi post-apocalyptic. It needs to encompass the themes of the original fucking game.
Strange choice of music for the trailer, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
The
not one of those.
fawn on blondes.
What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
Did they do the He-Man remix? Because that's the best version of that song.
I almost feel like it was discordant on purpose.
And I step outside and I get and I get real high. Just with like 80s He-Man comic like visuals over the top. I've left that for like on a 10-hour loop for the managers in the morning at the pub. It's like countless times. It's my go-to.
You're a heartless.
No,
bastard.
I think your day is better when you walk into the office and that's the first thing you see is just He-Man. What's going on? And I say,
yeah, I've lost it. Okay, let's talk about our beers. Let's talk about our beers, and we'll get into the big topic of the episode, which is Days Gone. We'll be in like 2.5 hours before we start the main topic.
Peter, I didn't include it in the run sheet, but I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Then we can't talk about it. That's the rules.
Fuck yourself and fuck me. It's Trailer Trash bit. Cowboy Bebop. Have you guys seen the trailer for that? The new live action?
Fuck. I keep meaning to watch it, and no, I haven't. No.
So it's a traditional. It's late 90s anime. About a space bounty hunter, but obviously set in an anime universe. But they're doing a live action. Netflix is doing a live action version of it, and the what's the name of the main actor that's going to be in it? Is the guy from? He was one of the dudes. Oh, he's been in everything. He's been in Star Trek. He was in Harold and Kumar.
Go to White Castle.
Yeah. One of the two dudes in that. Fuck.
Oh, he was Sulu in what?
Yeah.
In Star Trek, was he?
Jesus, yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It is John Cho. Jesus Christ, that was bad. I'm very sorry. I apologize. He's playing the lead, and it is anime accurate. His costumes and stuff. I really recommend it. I'm very excited for it. I don't know too much about it. I've never watched the original anime, but I think that's one thing we should look forward to, and you guys should put on your radar, just as a little trailer trash. But it's the trailer as well. It keeps the like really high jazz element of the original series, so I think it's going to be very authentic to the original anime. But that's all I'm going to say.
Check it out.
Yeah, but put it on your radar. It's going to be really cool.
I do like John Cho too.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. He's good with timing.
Yep.
Like he really nails it. Yeah, wow. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. That was exactly the movie too.
But yes, beers. What are we drinking? Peter.
I'm going to be pissed by the end of the episode. I suspect this is.
Please honest, I'm actually pretty pissed already.
We know. This is Reckless Brewing Double Cherry Sour.
Reckless.
Good old Reckless.
Small batch.
Yeah,
Reckless
nice.
has the best red IPA in the country.
Oh, fucking turn
down.
it up. No.
Hands down.
No, I'll
I
fight you
reckon.
on that one.
Yep. No.
That's a big fucking call.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's absolutely perfect.
I think it's a stunning red IPA, but I wouldn't say it's the best in the country.
Yeah, I would.
I'm
making that call.
All right, well, you're
I'm
wrong.
going to turn my other light on. This small batch...
Objectively the best of the best red IPA in the country.
This small batch contains one of our more rebellious brews. This beer is one-off, so pick me up, crack me open, and enjoy. We brewed this tasty little number to celebrate our second birthday. Tart with a hint of sweetness, we absolutely packed this guy with fresh cherries. Happy birthday to us.
I haven't tried any of this house. How is it?
Brewed by 3 mates for you to enjoy with yours. Except you
don't have any
alone
mates
in lockdown. Yeah, that's right. And I got to tell you, the label is a millimeter out. It's pretty good.
Fire them.
Less
Fire
than
the
a
lot of them.
millimeter out.
Send them back. No, they're done.
Lovely can. Like, I really like the can art. It's simple. It's a matte sticker on a shiny black can with a gold top. It's a simple design. I don't think I've ever had a Reckless Brewing.
They're very, very new. They've been brewing out of Akasha.
Yeah,
the guys there. They're very talented. Very, very talented brewers.
I'll tell you what. For a double strength sour, what was the ABV on it? 6%. So it's
got a punch.
It's not quite a double though, really. It's really good. It's actually not that sour. It's not tart. It has that real... It does have the traditional sour cherry flavor profile without the bite, and there is a bit of a sweet finish to it. So I'm kind of impressed by, I'm used to a really, really tart sour. Yep. I'm impressed by the balance between the sweetness and the sourness, and it comes out as a lovely, nice, dry finished beer.
I'll have to bring you some of our dark and tart, Pete, that we did.
I've had it.
Yeah, I know, but it's
I bought a whole case from memory.
Aged brilliantly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
It's so much better now than it was.
I tried your maple porter.
Yeah, maple and vanilla porter.
The new one. It was spec-fucking-tacular.
Yeah, we like it.
I really, really enjoyed that.
Probably a bit sweeter than we had originally planned, or that Charlie and Oliver.
I think it balances this. I think if it hadn't been that sweet, I would worry that it'd be too heavy.
Yeah, the maple was quite... When we had in tank, trying it straight from tank, the maple was really bitter. Like, when we first put the maple in, like it...
You get that acidic sweetness?
No,
Is that what
bitter.
you're talking about?
No, bitter. Like, maple was really bitter, like crazy bitter. And, I mean, we knew it'd probably mellow out and fall out when we finished it off, but that was one of the things that the extra sweetness helped with sort of balancing out.
Now that's and this Reckless Brewing is fantastic. I'm certain that this is the first Reckless we've had on the podcast.
Yeah,
including the old podcast.
I think it probably... Oh, they've only been around for a year.
2 years.
2 years.
It's the second birthday.
Second birthday,
Well,
is it?
This was the second birthday.
Yeah,
brew,
they haven't been
yeah.
around long.
Where are they based? Do you know?
Akasha. We just said that.
Oh, we just said that. Sorry.
They're technically still
alright,
Gypsy
fuck.
Brewing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Their core ranges are they got an XPA or a pale. They got a stout. They've got a IPA. They have a summer IPA. They've just done an oat cream actually. They just did an oat cream IPA.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And I didn't realize they'd done a sour, but that's really fucking cool. I'm excited to try it. It's
a really good sour too. It's surprising because it's not what I expect out of a mouth pucker, but it's tasty. It what it lacks in sourness, it makes up for in flavour.
Yeah, so I think
shitloads of cherry
the couple
in there.
that run the company, she is one of the brewers or like assistant brewers at Akasha, and I think that he is also training to be a brewer at Akasha.
Yeah, okay.
And then they have some other mates behind them as well. But yeah, it's super cool, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had a chance to have it on tap yet, but yeah, I will.
If that's coming out of them after 2 years, then yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see where they go. I'm going to pick Dan. What are you drinking next? Because I know Tom's going to go for 25 minutes, so I can just cut the...
I'm having
I feel
another...
attacked.
I grabbed another Deep Creek while I was at Q Cellars. So the Deep Creek Hazy IPA. It is what it is. Zenith is what it's called. It is a hazy IPA. I mean, there's...
Okay.
It's good and serviceable for the product that it is. I mean, it's
doesn't sound like it stands out as a groundbreaking beer, but then not all beers have to be.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, it doesn't have to be, and it's absolutely not what I wanted at the moment. Not.
It's just that
this is what I wanted at the moment, not something completely crazy and out there. So this, I mean, it's good rounded hop character. It's actually got a surprising bitterness to it for the style, the hazy IPA style. It's got quite a bit of hop back palate bitterness. It's fresh. It's hoppy. It's got the protein body that a hazy IPA should have. I've drunk too much of it to show you how hazy it is, but it's quite it's hazy. It's good. I mean, it's a good hazy IPA. I mean, it's a very easy. I don't want to insult them to say it's not memorable, but it is good for what it is, and I would definitely...
It's core range.
I would definitely go through and buy it again. I don't know if it is core range, but yes, it's a...
But that's the style of beer. It's a core range style, yeah. And it's funny because all the Deep Creeks that we've had on the show so far have been out there, tropical flavoured sours.
Yeah.
So this is probably the first deviation from that.
Which is a shame because they do a really good hazy IPA range, which I don't think we've touched on.
Okay.
Yeah.
This might be part of that range, but it is good. It's a really good IPA. Like there's good tropical fruit characters there. I don't actually know what hops are in it. Once again, I haven't done my research as I ever do.
We don't research.
There's nothing even
Just
written
show
on
up.
there's nothing even written on the can.
Okay.
No, there's nothing to say what it is, but it to me it tastes like a couple of the standard. So Mosaic, it probably doesn't have Citra in it, but it has maybe a lot of Mosaic in there. It's got a bit of that sort of resiny character to it, which is probably leading into the bitterness there as well. And just some good tropical fruity characters to it. Yeah.
I've just got to say before we move back to Tom, this is dangerous, this double cherry sour, because it is very smashable. There's no alcohol flavour to it whatsoever.
What percentage is it?
6.
Oh.
I could
Danger,
drink
Will
a 6-pack of that in a sitting. I could easily drink a 6-pack in a sitting. So I'm going to go order some while you talk about your beer, Tom.
Very good. I've come with a prop for this this beer. I thought it'd be pretty funny. And I will put it on the background.
We don't want sex toys on. What is it? A marshmallow brown ale?
No, this beer there is no hype, only Zuul.
It's the only Zuul one. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I did have to put the Ghostbusters theme on in the background.
That's good.
This is a Mountain Culture West Coast IPA, and the blurb on the back is fucking fantastic.
So before you read this, you put this in the chat the other day. My complaint with this was it should have been. And I know Mountain Culture do almost exclusive hazies, East Coast IPAs. New York's on the East Coast. If you want to fucking name something after Ghostbusters, it has to be a fucking East Coast IPA. It can't be a West Coast IPA. It's the wrong side of the goddamn fucking country.
Well, I think this is just then you can just imagine DJ doing his like weird walk through the center square in front of the fountain where he's only doing one leg.
Exactly.
Like, he's just hopping along,
doing the Venkman dance. Yeah.
So they say,
Do I want to buy a... Sorry, carry on.
Be careful opening your refrigerator door with this one. It's been possessed with a blend of our favourite Australian hops, added at multiple stages to the brew and in plentiful amounts. While it churns with multiple dimensions, lightning bolts of flavour over a resinous backbone, it has been exercised of any of the hazy hype. Each sip may have you seeking out another like the Keymaster, seeking out the gatekeeper of Gozer until the only way to pull yourself away is to cross the streams. But yeah, it's cool little artwork. Cool. Look at that. That is nice.
It is a nice can. Yeah.
And it's a typical Mountain Culture.
Only Zuul.
But yeah, I like their can art.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more fun ones. It is, but that said, it's look at it. It's a dank resinous, thick,
right color for a West Coast.
It's a big fucking West Coast, and we all know that DJ can brew a fucking IPA, and he's smashed out of the park with this one. This is bitter. It is very piney. It is absolutely smashing like my palate. Like I don't know how I'm going to get through the next beer, but funnily enough, it's another Mountain Culture, so I think I'll be fine.
I think you'll be fine.
But yeah,
you'll figure it out, mate.
Strangely enough, if DJ had still been brewing my other favourite red IPA, I would have said that was the best red IPA in the country. But
so I actually had his triple version of, I'm sure it's that original recipe the other day that he did.
You reckon? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that was probably one of the best fucking red IPAs I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay. Nice.
And I seek out red IPAs. I hunt them down. I like the Witcher going after a fucking bounty. That's me with red IPAs. But this one's it's punchy. It's good. It's 7.8%, so it's fine. I'm already pissed. So whatever. But
this my hazy is 6% as well. Yeah, 6%.
Yeah, okay.
This is a nice, very very classic style resinous West Coast IPA, which is good from a brewery that really pride themselves on their hazies to show they can really still smash out of the park. But DJ, you fucking talented bastard, how dare you be so good at your job?
Cool.
Yeah.
Next topic. Finally.
Next. Yeah.
Day's gone.
So
an hour and a half.
Yeah, it has been an hour and a half too. So we're going to dedicate the rest of this episode. No, we won't. We've got some stuff to talk about outside of the scope of Days Gone, but it's going to lead directly.
It all adds together, yeah.
Let's talk about Days Gone, and I've added a little bit of kind of thought-provoking statements around or topics to cover about the game. But I think let's start generally. How did we enjoy the game? You guys have finished it. I'm still. Dan, have you finished it?
I haven't actually finished it.
I'm the only one who's finished it. But Dan, you played it first.
Yeah.
You definitely played it first.
So I got onto this day one. Like I bought this at release. I saw the trailers happening at E3. I was very skeptical when I saw their release trailer. Well, it was actually a gameplay trailer. They didn't even start with a release trailer. They went straight into a gameplay trailer of Deacon St. John running through a wood mill.
It was a marauder camp, wasn't it?
No, it was a sawmill. Oh, I think there was a marauder camp for sort of later on.
And he was sneaking around.
Oh, that was later. Oh, I don't know which one
I'm
came
sure that
first.
was E3 footage.
Yeah, it was. It was either he did the marauder camp or first, and he did the horde after, or they showed the horde first and that after. But anyway, the memorable part was obviously the horde and how he used the environment to take down, like,
For his advantage, yeah.
Decking to take out parts of the horde, and they came through, squeezed them through tight areas so he could pick them off on a thinner stream as they came through. And you're talking about hundreds of freakers in this horde, and that got me from the start. The whole being a biker, on having the bike as your mode of transport, that was fucking awesome. And then them talking about you have to look after your bike. You can run out of fuel. You can destroy it and have to come back and repair it. And your fucking bike doesn't come to you when you call it. Like, you run too far from it.
It's not a horse.
You have to travel back to your bike to be able to do it.
It is not Shadowfax. You don't whistle and it just like,
Exactly. So it's not
betrayal.
It's not Roach. It's not anything. Roach isn't going to suddenly appear on a Skilliger Isle when you've travelled over there.
Which was great in that game, but it was annoying in this game in parts, but also added.
You ran out of petrol.
I ran out of petrol plenty of times when I first started playing it.
So what do you do? Do you just leave the bike there and go and find the nearest place with a jerry can? Is that what you
find
do?
jerry cans from like certain camps, or you find tow trucks. Like tow trucks, when you see a tow truck, you're like, that's definitely got
there's a jerry can on the back
of fuel
of it.
there. Or eventually you can.
Or did you walk your bike? Because that would have been hilarious.
I did it the first time I ran out of fuel. I walked my bike up that fucking mountain.
That would have been a fucking nightmare.
And I stopped every 10 meters to take out some fuckhead that was trying to come and like eat me.
Sorry, I've just bought out all remaining stock of the Reckless Brewing Double Cherry Sour from Beer Cartel.
Well done.
So I'll make sure I keep one for the next podcast for you guys to try. So I've got the last two 4-packs. Carry on.
But then later in the game, you can go to a mechanic and say, "Can you guys retrieve my bike for a certain fee?" But I
thought you could do that from the start.
I'm
sure it talks about it in the
they mention it, but I don't
tips.
think I did that until like there's kind of really like 4 chapters. 4 or 5 chapters, and I think in like the 4th chapter is the first time I actually used a mechanic to be like, I can't be bothered walking out there to get my bike because it's in the middle of like a horde.
So for people that have never played the game, it's a zombie, post-apocalyptic zombie third-person shooter. Third-person
shooter has a massive bike element. It's set in Oregon in the northwest of America, so it's beautiful country.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely stunning. It is. So I think for me, the big thing that originally drew me to this game was the idea of it. Like, I love Last of Us, but that is a lot of creeping around, and it's not necessarily engaging the zombies in that one. It zombies game for those who weren't paying attention, but so
and even when you do engage them in Last of Us, it's only 1 or 2
at a time.
It's
otherwise you get fucking annihilated.
But it's so tempered, whereas this was like, you know what, you can actually, as we've seen in some of the footage that I sent to you guys, I can take out a horde which is 350 400 like zombies strong. And it's the running zombies. It's not like in Last of Us. It's the slow. It's the slow It's the slow creepers. In Days Gone, it is they form a horde. When you approach one of the hordes, all seem to mold together, so it's like a amorphous blob just rolling. It's just rolling over itself to get you, and like
So if you've seen World War Z, that's what they do. Yeah, it's like a wave of.
Well, but it's the walking zombie versus the screaming running zombie. That's that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
But to me, and I think I said this last episode. To me, the footage made it look like the first couple of seasons from The Walking Dead, with is it Norman Reedus?
Yeah.
The
there's
crossbow
there's
toting Harley, Daryl, right, and there were hordes in The Walking Dead, and
they're still
zombies in The Walking Dead.
They're still a shuffling zombie though,
and they were herds.
Yeah, Walking Dead's a shuffling zombie. This is more. This is
fucking
the Day of the Dead remake.
28 days later, run
the
at
screaming,
you, full
the screaming,
fucking
running,
helter-skelter.
Screeching at you. So like that
and
adds
I've
to it when there's
off
200
my
of them.
fucking couch.
Yeah.
I've jumped off my couch 3 or 4 times now. The first time at the very start of the game, when you're opening up, they tell you to open up all the boots and the bonnets to get of the dead cars to get scrap and get shit out of the back. And there's one right at the start where you open the boot and a fucking child zombie jumps out at you, and I jumped 3 foot off my fucking couch.
Discovering a first newt, I was like, that's freaky. That's fucked.
That's your first mission. So you go and clear out Crazy Willies right at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And they're on the roof, and it says leave them alone, or if you invade their territory...
I shot them.
So, of course, you get some 2v4 and you go up and beat the shit out of them all. But one of them jumps out of the fucking boot at me, and I fucking shat myself. I've crashed my bike. I don't know how I did it. I just did it before we started recording, actually. I was driving in the Lost Lake, which is the third kind of zone that you unlock. And I just hit a ripple strip in the road just at the wrong angle and rolled my bike and insta-died. And it's like...
I've done that plenty of times. I was just like... How fast can I ride this bike down this hill? Oh, there's a tree.
I wasn't trying to do anything.
No. Oh, dear, there's a tree. Oh, I'm dead.
There's a tree. As far as atmosphere goes, it is brilliant.
It's scenic as fuck. That I like. That is. I've always wanted to go to Portland and Oregon. That is doubled down on my desire to go to Portland and Oregon.
But the great juxtaposition between how pretty the natural environment is... And the skybox, you mentioned the word skybox before, Dan, that's the exact right term, is spectacularly realistic. When clouds roll in, and you've got the brightness of the sky in the background where you can see the rain has stopped in the distance. Yeah. It looks perfect.
But it also doesn't draw your eye too much away from it. It's a part of the environment, and it all works as an integrated world as we live in. It's not one of these ones that the skybox is so beautiful that you actually stop to look at it. Yeah. It feels like an integrated part of the world that is just
the
part of the
day-night
world.
cycles
but at the
are
same
well
stage,
done.
It is so well done that I did stop to look at it. Plenty of times I would stop my bike and just like pause because there was nothing around me.
The sunsets on the snowy mountains are amazing.
Yeah, because there was that up there. I'm thinking of like recent games I've played through, but like we're talking about a skybox that's like stops you. Bioshock Infinite, like you're up in the clouds, so the entire time you're just getting these like sunlight streaming through massive fluffy cloud kind of backdrops, and you're just like, that's really quite stunning. But at the same time, I'm about to go shoot 20 people in the face, like
atmosphere breaking. Yeah. But what I was going to say is it's a beautiful juxtaposition between how beautiful the natural scenery is against the fog and the constant rain and the zombie noises that are always going on in the background.
When you're riding around on a clear night and you can hear the screech of a zombie, but you don't know where it's from, and you got your headphones on, you're just like, oh, that's very unnerving. But at the same time, I'm going to go stab that person in the face. Like,
but I'm not as like, obviously you've finished the game, you've platinumed it. I'm like not even a halfway through the storyline. I'm not omnipotent yet. I can take on a bunch of shit, but I'm not at the end game where you know you're going to nail. Like in every game, the stuff that scares you at the start becomes irrelevant to you towards the middle and
we talked about
the 3/4 mark, right?
I'm talking about so the hordes, the main thing, because from the start I never found.
But it's not the main thing. It's the main atmospheric thing.
No, but the fighting the hordes, that's that's like the end game kind of content. But I never found any of the camps to be particularly troubling. In fact, I said to you in messages that like we were like, shit, you got to pick up all this stuff off the dead bodies. I was like, yeah, well, cool. I would take a couple of pot shots from people in the camps just so I know I could pick up.
You'd let yourself get shot.
I'd let myself
so
take damage so I know I could pick things up from the body so I could keep getting these things so you can collect those.
So have you looked at the trophy list, Dan?
No.
Of course he has.
So
it's not something I do.
You know, Dan, the first thing he does when he plays a game is he looks at the trophy list because he knows what I'm going to ignore.
Before I buy the game, I've read the guide typically. But so one of the trophies, and interestingly, the trophy list is integrated into the UI inside the game, which is the first time I've seen that. So it'll tell you all your PlayStation trophies to get the platinum as a part of the core game. And one of the trophies is collect 541 items. 541, sorry. Items. That's right, I'm up to 442. That's why that number sticks out. 542 items off humans.
Yep.
Okay.
But, and the best thing is it's a reference to Shaun of the Dead because the trophy title is You've got red on you.
Oh, I got that trophy the other day,
and
I couldn't work it. I couldn't work it out.
Dan got a trophy.
I didn't know what I just happened.
Didn't know what the trigger was.
It randomly happened during a camp encounter, and I'm like,
yeah.
Why
So
did I just get a Shaun of the Dead fucking trophy?
Yeah. So every time you scavenge one of the bodies, you would pick up a rag or a bandage or whatever. But if you picked up 541 of them, you got the You've Got Red on You trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem
Holy
is...
shit, Dan might platinum a game if he really tries.
Yeah. The 10 minutes of drifting, I don't think... You'd have to go out of your way to do that. That's a rubber band trick.
No, I did that naturally.
Really?
Yeah, because I drifted on that bike like a motherfucker because it was so much fun. Every corner I was like...
So the trick with the picking up items off the human bodies is once you finish the game's main story... I've been warned that there are very few humans to shoot at.
Nope.
So
that is a falsehood because they reset it with a patch, so you can reset camps, so you can go back in because they felt that so
good.
So many people complained about it.
Been running around, what I've been doing, Dan, because that's what I read, right?
Yeah.
That once you finish the main storyline, if you haven't gotten that trophy, you can grind it, but it's going to take fucking ages because there's so few
you meet 5
bad guy humans
yeah.
to shoot at. It's all zombies at the end of the game. So I've been running around like, I've killed this guy, I walk up to his body, you are at maximum rags. Okay, so I'm going to now throw a Molotov on the ground, stand in the fire, use a bandage just to craft a bandage, so I need the rag to pick it back up off the fucker.
Yeah, but I said to Pete, if you just ignore everything you see on the ground, if you just scavenge bodies, like I smashed through that thing well before the trophy guide I read told me.
You just said that you finished it before the end of the game.
Well, they said it would like I'd be doing it still at the end, but like halfway through the game, I was like, oh, that trophy popped. That's sweet. I didn't realize. But
I do have to say though, this game's probably one of the best I've seen for trophies in a long time, in that is literally the only one that I've even been conscious of, and it turns out it's a bum steer anyway, so I never had to be conscious of it. Every other trophy in the game to get platinum, you will probably get naturally just enjoying the game.
Yeah,
to me, that's a great.
That was the same. That was the same with Spider-Man on PS4. It was just like there was only like 2 or 3 things you had to do outside of the main game to get that platinum. And a lot of the Sony exclusives have been moving toward that because they want to reward the people that play their games. They want them to play Sony exclusives. So, like, cool. If all you care about is a platinum trophy, and it gets so many complaints on like the trophy hunter boards of people being like, "Oh, it's too easy." But it's like, yeah, sure, man. That game's not about you getting a platinum. You're going to smash that out in 2 days. But it's about the guy who's never done that, but then suddenly they're like, you know what? The developer put that in, and I get rewards for doing it. It makes me feel good for that like split second. That's amazing. Oh, what else have they done? Maybe I'll go buy their other game that like.
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about what it was originally designed for was encouraging players to experience aspects of the game that you may not experience naturally. it encourages you to explore the involvement and the investment of time and effort that the developers have put into a game.
But I think there's
Go
other
and
games.
visit all four corners of the game.
I think there's other games that push that better than Days Gone.
Yeah.
But I that said, I fucking love this game. It was good, and I've heard there is going to be
before you continue too much.
Yeah.
Before you get into sequels, Dan, what were you going to say? Sorry, we cut you off.
This is why I don't trophy hunt. Because what you just said about dropping a fucking Molotov to hurt yourself to make fucking bandages, absolutely is the thing that I hate about.
And it turns out I didn't even have to be doing that.
Well, you didn't have to, but
for the 30
and even
30
what you said
hours
just
I've
before
played.
that you've read the guide before you played the game. I have missed things in The Witcher. I absolutely guarantee I have missed things in The Witcher, and I've played over 350 hours of Witcher 3. I guarantee I haven't got the platinum, so I guarantee there's things, storylines, side missions, whatever. There's shit in there that I've missed.
Oh,
There was nothing grindy in Witcher 3, by the way.
No, but wait
it was
a minute.
all just about playing the game.
but
But
there's plenty of Witcher 3
this
things
is-
that talk about storylines that only appear if you're there at a certain time as well.
But
that's
this is
that's the beauty of.
This is what
Them.
excites me about playing games. I don't want to read the guide to know that I've got to sit here and sit out the front of this place to be there at a certain time. If I'm there at the right time, I get to experience that part of it. I don't want to know that's there. I want to now go into the the PS5 make of The Witcher 3 and go get three-quarters of the
Holy
way.
shit, I never experienced that.
Get three-quarters of the way through the game and go, I love this fucking game. And you know what? This just makes me love it even more. And this is why I don't... And this is, once again, this is what I was saying to you guys. This is what you guys enjoy. I'm not ragging on what you guys enjoy. But this is why I don't do that. And this is why I specifically go out of my way not to do that. Because that takes away my view of enjoyment of the game.
Yeah.
My thing
makes
with that
perfect
is
sense.
when you say you specifically go out of your way to not do those things, that for me is like, well, sometimes I need to go out of my way to do these things, but most of the time with most of the platinums I have, it's just like 90% of it is finish the fucking game, you like, because there's so many people who don't finish these games, so they put those things in to be like, please enjoy the story we've worked hard on. And they're the trophies I appreciate more than like a grindy trophy, because it's sure you don't get any actual like I didn't do anything for it, but it's knowing that you have going through
you have completed the game.
You've gone through
in
the
the eyes
story
of the
that they wanted
developers.
to tell and the ways they wanted to do it. And I'm not saying that like, you know, and I understand that when you like for you, Dan, you don't want to then go and be like, I'm going to go collect 100 beer bottles so I can make 100 Molotovs.
There's nothing
like,
better, though.
That makes perfect sense. But I know so many people who just like, same thing. They don't want a 100 platinum trophy. I'm just, because I look at a list and I'm like, oh, I can finish that, so I should, because, you know, I've given up so many things in my life that I didn't finish, so I might as well finish these things in games.
I get excited when I read a trophy guide that says, step 1, just play the fucking game, you moron.
See, I don't read a trophy guide until I've played the story. I play the story once.
I usually read through not so much the descriptions of the trophies and how to get them, but more just the guide at the start that usually gives you tips. And it's, hey, keep an eye out for this because it's missable.
Playthrough guides.
And I don't want to have to do.
Times you need to play
I don't want to
through
have to
the
do
game,
a second playthrough because I didn't read a paragraph that says keep an eye out for this tiny little thing, or else you're going to have to start from scratch at the end.
I guess that said, like the amount of times I've played through a game the second time that I've noticed so many things I never noticed the first time that I'm like.
Even games you've platinum the first playthrough?
No. This is more like games that like, oh, you could platinum this one playthrough, but it's like the amount of times you go through a game, you're like, oh shit, I never noticed that the first time. Like, I should have done that.
We're going to move away from the trophy discussion. All I'm saying, Dan, is to your point, I much prefer games that have no missable trophies, where you can play the game at your own pace, playing it however the fuck you want, and you can still get the platinum because all of the game is open to you after you've finished the story. Though that's always my preference, right? Because I'm not thinking about trophies while I'm playing the game.
If I'm going to go for a platinum, I want something I need to actually work towards. I want something for the story. 100% agree. I want to just be able to go through it, but then there's something extra to go back and go for, like
I spent 6 or 7 years of my life, and I'm talking a significant amount of time playing World of Warcraft on a fucking treadmill for grinding. I don't enjoy the grind anymore.
I mean, I'm the same.
did my time
I did
in
that
hard.
for Destiny, but I'm still sitting at 64 platinums. Like, I've done my fair share of grinds, but I find that's the enjoyment of the story is always first and foremost. But I find that I get more enjoyment of earning a platinum if I then go back and go like, cool, I'll go pick up all those like recordings, or I'll go pick up those like things I didn't read in lore and stuff. Yeah.
Moratorium on trophies now.
Absolutely on what you just said, Tom. This Days Gone is probably one of the first games where to go and pick up those recordings and have them absolutely expand the lore of the world and be useful. Every one of those recordings that I've picked up so far and
fills in the
to,
gaps.
It fills in the gaps, but it's something relevant, and the way that they
what is it?
space them out
in the south when you finally get to the south, and then like this isn't
no spoilers.
Not
Tom.
spoiler, but like you pick up recordings and they as you go through camps, you pick up the more of those Nero recordings, and they tell more of a desperation story which you've already heard, and it's like if you didn't pick them up, you'd be like, it's weird that no one ever came to the south, but it just adds so much to the story in terms of that. It's like,
and it talks about the biology and the uniqueness of the zombie and the world, the zombies and the world, the freakers that they've created for this game. They've thought about this and fleshed it out.
100%.
I totally agree. So I've just finished the Iron Mike story. Iron Mike?
Yeah,
Iron Mike. Yeah.
Iron Jack.
Iron Mike.
I think it is.
Iron Mike.
Iron Mike. Okay. So
Iron,
I've just
Iron Jack's the mid-strength
crappy beer.
2-inch beer. Yeah.
Yeah. So
bottle
I've,
of shit that you've
about six missions ago, there was a storyline that really stood out in the mission with Iron Mike, where you go and show him the Horde, and essentially,
I remember
the game
exact one.
explains the reason why the world is populated by these random zombies is because these hordes move through from the south, which is, I think, wouldn't be the south.
Yeah, California.
They move from
Yeah, 'cause it's the
California.
west coast of the US.
So they move through these lava tunnels, and the horde moves through to feed it at night.
They move up the highways. Lava tunnels are only they're exclusive to the North Oregon region.
Yeah, but he's saying that they're using the tunnels to get there from California into the region that you're in.
No. They settle in the lava tunnels.
Okay.
Yeah. They move up the highways.
So-
That's one of the whole things is the highways.
You're arguing an irrelevant point, so I'm just going to agree with you. Yes, and he does mention the highways. It's so the reason why the world is populated by random zombies is because these hordes move through at night to feed, and a couple of stragglers get left behind when the horde goes back into the caves to sleep at night, or go back to wherever they came from, and that's why the world is full of zombies. And that's also why no matter how many of these fuckers you kill, there's always more zombies, because you're not dealing with 1,000 zombies in a zone. You're dealing with a million zombies that move through a zone at night and leave behind 1,000 zombies by the time the day breaks. It's a really, really cool explanation for it.
See, I
like the
actually
moments of
disagree with
lucidity
that
mission.
point. I disagree with that point in the terms of zombies, because the way they talk about it in the game is that they have been regularly picking off zombies, and
For 2 years.
But they're also very careful in ensuring that they burn any bodies of people that die. They don't leave them for the freakers. That's a pretty common theme throughout all the camps. Is, hey, if someone from the camps dies, you
They've never actually explained that to me so far, but you do see the pile of burning bodies on the outside of the camps. But they haven't explained why.
No, sorry. It's one of the opening missions is when you go back and that chick gets murdered.
Oh, you burn her body, yes,
but
so
they
you
talk
don't
about it
feed
like you don't leave it for the freakers, because then essentially it's a classic zombie thing.
I didn't actually pick up on that, to be honest.
That's one of the common story things is like you don't leave a body for the freaks, because then she turns into one of them. But it's 2 years. There's a finite possibility of people that they're turning into, and especially if you're going through Deacon St. John's fucking kill list, like, by the end of it, I definitely killed probably 1 million zombies. Like, if everyone,
I disagree.
if everyone could
disagree.
do that, no, I get what you're saying, but I think they're the way they're talking about it is like they haven't started dealing with hordes yet, but they get you to start dealing with hordes.
Oh, look, you always have to be the protagonist in the story, or else you wouldn't have an interesting enough role in telling the story.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, the population of zombies is being fed by California, right?
But they talk about
If
how the
they-
military fucking obliterated it.
No, they nuked towns, they blew up bridges, but these zombies have found a way to migrate from California to Oregon
Yeah,
and then back
no,
again,
of
right?
course, but-
And you aren't talking about a population of... There are 39.5 million people in California.
Yeah, but
So
also a nuke's
there
pretty fucking
is-
powerful.
There are enough bodies to provide an unlimited... What essentially amounts to...
there aren't, because they
an
have to
unlimited
turn
number
other
of-
people.
While you two argue, and get a beer.
Yeah, Well, hurry back, because I need to do the same, and I can't leave Tom at the show because he's a little pissy and he'll just
No,
ramble for
I'm
the next
right
20
is what
minutes.
I am. Is
All I'm saying is,
they
you know,
they
you
have a finite amount of zombies.
I disagree.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And-
Sorry,
and-
is the
well-
infinite population still replicating in some cave?
I think at some point a number is great enough that you may as well treat it as if it was infinite, even if it's technically not. So if you're talking about
Well, that's just
the
defeatist, Peter.
scope of the game, if you talk about the scope of the game, there's 20 people in each camp.
Mm-hmm.
You might kill another 1,000 people, humans,
Mm.
in the course of the game over 12 months or whatever it takes you to play it. I don't know how many days gone you've got, but mine's like 760 or something.
867, I think, is the last one. Yeah, but yeah.
Right. So less than a year, you've killed 1,000 human beings, and you've maybe met another 1,000. Let's just say there's 2,000.
Yeah.
How many zombies have you killed?
Oh, easily
2,000?
No,
3,000?
easily like quadruple that.
Okay. So I don't know if I believe that number, but even if I accept it, let's just say 10,000. 10,000 zombies you've killed over the course of 6 months in the game. But there are 40 million zombies.
Yeah, so you
who
got a job to do.
migrate. I'm saying it may as well be an infinite supply
And
to
that's a
replenish
defeatist
the
attitude,
10,000.
Peter. That's a
It's not
defeatist.
defeatist.
No,
it's-
that's
it's-
defeatist right there. You got to pull your
so,
finger out
anyway,
and do the job.
I don't know why. I don't even know how we got stuck into this topic. You guys talk about game mechanics and combat mechanics
You
while
two
I take a
still
leak.
going.
Yeah. We're not. I'm going to go take a leak.
Okay.
Peter has
So-
admitted
so,
defeat because he knows
Retreat
he's
is the
wrong.
better part of valor, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Whatever the story is.
Fair enough.
Carry on.
The gunplay is excellent.
I'm really proud that I won that one. That was
It's
good.
Red Dead Redemption. I'm
Quiet,
still
you.
here,
Your screen's
motherfucker.
off. Go away.
It's RDR. Anyway, I'm going to go.
The gunplay is excellent.
Yes.
The bike mechanic feels a little floaty when you're going too fast for me. But like
My
were
big
talking in
thing,
the
as
chat.
I think we talked about, was the voice acting at times
Oh, the
just
voice
felt
acting,
so weird.
yeah.
So you'd be on the bike yelling, absolutely yelling into the microphone, and then someone would be on the bike next to you, but they'd be going, "Yeah, Dick, that's a really interesting point." Or you'd have someone behind you being like, "Yeah, like let's do this thing," but you'd be like, "Yeah, anyway, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna go knife this people," and you're just like, "Okay, why is he yelling but no one else is?" It was just, I don't know if it was a recording thing, and I literally thought back to Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah.
Which had one of the best voice things for that, where it was when Peter was swinging, when you were swinging through the streets as Peter, he would yell. But as soon as you stopped or you did a slow swing, he would be like, he'd gain his breath and he'd be like, yeah, anyway, mate. I'd be like, but then when he was like proper, like you'd do his proper swing, he'd be like, yeah, anyway, I'll be back before Andy gets home. That's a Toy Story quote, but but like, yeah, it was just like, why wouldn't this game really focus on that? I don't know. It was just
I think the only comment on that would be that they probably assumed you were going to be on the bike 90% of the time when these conversations were happening over the radio.
They were triggered when you were on the radio, but you'd have someone on the bike behind you who was whispering, but you'd be screaming.
Yeah.
I think that was the only thing that really threw me.
Yeah, I agree. There was a few, and even when he delivers his lines, sometimes where he's puffed out after a mission, like where he gives a couple of those lines, it almost feels like just be a bit quieter, man, because there might be a couple more around. Like just tone it down a little bit.
Or when he'd repeat the same lines at a camp. There were a lot of repeated lines, and
even when
he rushed a lot of lines. I felt like I love Sam Witwer as a voice actor. I think he's fantastic, and I will. Same. I loved him because I've already said this. I loved him as Darth Maul in Rebels. He was Starkiller in both the Force Unleashed games. But there were a couple of times where he'd see a bike go past as he was like emptying a camp, and he'd be like, "Oh, where are you coming from? You're gonna take this camp?" And it's like, dude, take a breath, calm down, and deliver your line. But it's like, I don't know. It's just they repeated a lot of lines, and then there was a lot of screaming of the lines, which I didn't feel was necessary.
And just the last little bit there with when you finished a mission and he would radio the camp to say, "Hey, such and such is there on their way back to the camp. I'll radio in later to check on them." You'd get 100 meters up the road, and he'd make the call back. And I mean, I guess I think these are really nitpicky things to say that it didn't detract from the characters or anything like that, because he'd radio back in and go, "Hey, I'm just checking in. Such and such got back there."
If it was more balanced, it would have added to the story. But it did detract from the story. If you're like, especially when you just finished camp and you knew it was a 900-meter ride back to the camp.
Yeah.
But in the 2 minutes it's taken from you from killing the last dude to emptying their bunker to then walking down to your bike to find them going like, "Oh, hey, did so-and-so make it back from the camp?" You're like, that's not... It breaks from the realism, but that's kind of what we were playing towards.
And with a day-night cycle that they had in there would be absolutely no reason why they couldn't just have... Well, and this is me talking as a brewer.
I felt the day-night cycle was very redundant.
Well, no, this is more so saying that they could have, if that's in there, why not program that check-in for the in-game 12 hours later?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's that sort of...
Yeah, I really found the day-night cycle was very... It had its advantages occasionally, but it was more about the weather cycle, really. Like, you wanted really rainy weather so you could hide all your footsteps and shots and whatever. But otherwise, the day-night cycle really didn't do much.
I don't think it did much for the game. I'm more talking about what we were just mentioning about the length of time between radioing and checking. I guess the only reason they probably put them back to back is so people didn't go and leave a game, come back to it 3 days later and go, "Okay, why is he radioing in to check about this person? Like, what's going on there?" Like,
I get what you're saying, but I think I would have preferred it if he did do that. Then he waited a certain amount of time to be like, it was too quick.
Yeah,
I just walked in after taking a leak and having a smoke. I know exactly what you're talking about because I had the same complaint about the game. There were times where your mate, what's his name?
Boozer
checks in with you on the radio, and then 5 seconds passes and he checks in with you again like the previous conversation never happened. Now, maybe you could explain that away by the fact that he was high as a kite he wasn't high, but he was feverish. He had a fever, he was hallucinating and all the rest of it. But it bugged me. Did anything else bug you about the game? Because I've got one complaint about the game.
I mean, I'm
interested to see if you guys picked up on the same thing.
Like Boozer as a character, I gotta say. I thought he was pretty weak. I preferred a lot more of the other side characters. Skizzo's and he can fuck off, but that's fine.
But
I didn't like him from the first time you met him. I was like, you're wearing a flat brim, and you got your big jacket on, but you got a singlet
Puffer
underneath,
jacket.
you're a fucking idiot. Just wear a normal jumper, you dumb.
And he's wearing slack down jeans in a fucking zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's
And
running
he-
away from freakers in those fucking jeans.
It was just so impractical.
And he had a bandana on under a backwards cap. Like, only tossers wear a backwards cap, but adding a bandana, and yeah, I did that on purpose. But wearing a bandana underneath
Good,
it, like
I'm
the
about
purple.
to say, because you could see my lips forming the words.
Yeah, I could. I just stole that from you.
Backwards cap.
Is anyone? Were there any other complaints about the game?
Well, not without.
I got
not
one
without
big one.
spoiling potentially.
Sure. Okay.
So you
the
go.
storyline you have a complaint about.
No, some of the other characters, but they're later in the game. So I want
Yeah,
you. To,
right,
I want you to make your complaint, and if it's falls
I just
in the
think
thing, then maybe I'll say it.
I was impressed by eye contact and acting of the 3D characters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were lots of emotional moments where there was a lot of nuanced facial expression in the characters, and I was impressed by that. But I think the game gets let down regularly by poor voice acting. The delivery just doesn't hit.
You're coming in mildly late to that conversation, Pete.
Are you
Sorry,
talking about
you've already
yelling
had
on
that
the bike
conversation?
when you don't need to yell?
No, I'm not. I actually not experienced that. I'm interested to know if that's a bug or if it's later on in the game or you just experienced it. I've never had anyone shouting at me, and I've never been shouting
it's
back
more-
over the radio.
It's more Deacon, really. Yeah.
So I've noticed numerous times where Deacon he'll go from quiet to yelling at a character who's a foot away from him in a cutscene. We're not talking about radio where the game hasn't detected you're not on the bike anymore and he doesn't have to yell over the Harley engine. We're talking about the actual delivery of his lines, and it's not just him either. There are a number of supporting characters, at least as far as the Lost Lakes, which is the third zone that I'm in at the moment, where they just miss the emotional cues of their lines. Their lines are well written. The character models are brilliant, but I just feel like the voice acting lets the game down a little bit.
That's kind of what we were talking about before, where it just feels like, especially when you're talking about games recently where, like God of War, where there's so many nuances in the volume that delivers and like the way it delivers through, like
There's weight to
there's
the
weight
voice
to the voice acting,
as-
but it's also weight compared to the soundtrack behind it, which is also just as important. There wasn't as much of that in Days Gone. I found there were so many moments where, and there's what 2 or 3.
an emotional high was let down, or a climax was
Not even a climax.
let down.
It's just there's moments of like, I should just be riding my bike, going to point X, and yeah, I could probably radio in this thing, but I don't need to be yelling it into my radio. There were for me there were plenty of times where it was like.
But there's moments in the game that are exactly what you're describing, though. There are moments where you're on the road and the music comes up, and in fact, the first time you move from the so you go from Zone 1, which I can't remember the name, Copeland's Camps area, to Hot Springs, which is Zone 2, down to the Lost Lakes, which is Iron Mike's third zone. When you travel from Copeland's Camp,
Are you talking about the music ride?
Yeah, and there's singing. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's
you don't
the
hear a lot of
soundtrack-
singing
the soundtrack version.
in music.
Yeah. So they feature. No, they're the most beautiful moments of the game. There's essentially 2 of them. There's one where you ride semi-south, and then there's one where you cross the pass and go real south, which you'll come up to.
Right, the deep south.
The deep south. But yeah,
Have you?
But
have you?
Not quite, but yeah.
Not quite. But yeah.
Have you stopped in Iron Mike's gazebo to listen to the dude play the guitar and sing actual songs? That's a really cool little addition to the game, because someone had to. There was a band behind that who actually wrote music, and if you listen to the lyrics, they're not ripping off just generic songs. Those songs are written about the world that you're inhabiting in the game.
100%.
I was really impressed by that.
I think I've definitely listened to the first one. I think there's 6. I think in total. I've
listened to 3, and I've literally just sat there while my dinner's
it's
in the
good 5
microwave
minutes out of the
cooking.
game where you just sit there and go, hey, this is someone who's added something creative to this game. I really appreciate that. I'm going
Yeah.
to sit there and watch it. But yeah. No, and that's the thing. There are some beautiful moments in the game, which they're not really spoilers, but you're riding, and there's an actual song behind them, and it's someone. I think the second song, the composer and performer wrote it for Days Gone.
The game.
The first one was just like happened to coincide. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm less than halfway through, according to Dan, and I believe him. I don't have any gauge.
No, you are, because the last section takes fucking... The last section, unfortunately, drags on quite a bit, I felt.
Right.
There were so many moments...
But I'm at a point
where I felt like I'd finished the game, but then I had easily another, 10 hours of missions to do.
The only other thing that's bugging me is how many times am I going to go back to visit Sarah's fucking rock in the far north of the north section? Because I've been back 3 times for missions, and each time he just
shows how
yaks at the rock.
emotionally
and
heartless
it's not,
you are, you bastard.
But it's not. But there's no exposition there. Not really. The first time there was
exposition. Every time you go,
the first time there
exposition.
was no.
Oh,
No.
I mean,
the
there
flashback. No, the third time there's no flashback. So I'm cool with the flashback missions. It fills out the story. It fills out the backstory. I'm cool with that. But I went there a third time, and he just fucking talks at the rock, and that's the end of the mission.
Yeah, you do the exact same thing in a zombie apocalypse to your missus. I would 100% would. I just go and talk to her. And
She's dead, but he's not sure if she's even dead, and he's going back to regularly just to catch her up on the latest events.
Yeah, that's how people deal with grief, Peter.
I tend to agree with Tom on this one.
Yeah.
I actually thought those bits were pretty sweet, and I really enjoyed it. I actually...
I thought it got a bit long, but I'm only up to the third revisit
You're a
of
heartless
the rock.
bastard, but we always knew that.
Well, and I've dealt with grief too, so that's not just just doesn't resonate with me. I guess that's just makes me different. I guess we should talk about the 4th beer. Are we up to the 4th beer?
I'm having my 4th beer.
I went and got a 5th beer while I was taking a leak. So, but I'm running out of it. So let's talk about our 4th beers. Dan, are you up to your 4th?
Yep. I've got Hip Hip Puree, the peach mango smoothie
I just ordered
sour
some of that
from
Dainton.
Dainton. And it's good. The peach is really up front, and really the peach sort of dominates the palate as you're drinking it, and then the mango just smooths it out at the end.
Does it make you think of 4 Guys in a Canoe?
4 Guys in a Canoe. Should it?
Was the old what was the fucking brand of peaches in a little
you're
little
thinking
tub?
of
was the Olympic
Aussie Gold team, the Goulburn Valley
it.
Gold. Goulburn
That's it.
Valley Gold. The taste will drive you wild.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Babies for beaches and cream. Oh God, I was so
High during those years.
no,
clearly.
just
So-
advertising really just etched into my brain.
you are the perfect consumer.
Yeah,
Tom.
I was.
Sorry, back to Dan.
It's really good.
Valley
It's really
Gold.
nice. Really nice. It follows through on everything that it says it is. It's got a real smooth mango-y finish. It's really nice.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and the peach really does. You get that peach sourness through it.
Yeah.
And the peach really dominates the nose and the palate, and then the mango really just follows through the back palate, smooths it all out. It's nice.
Does the taste drive you wild?
It does. The taste does drive me wild. I actually bought 2 of these. I bought one for me and one for
peaches
Louise.
and apricots and mangoes. And fruit salad in multi-packs.
Tom, you need to stop drinking before the podcast. What are you drinking now?
Goulburn Valley Gold. I wish I was drinking some Goulburn Valley Gold, because that's one of the greatest.
At least non-alcoholic.
Yeah, fucking they should chuck some sour yeast in that. That'd be great.
Now that you say that, now that you've got that in my head, it does actually taste like the juice from the can. Not when you're eating
you
the
always
fruit.
have to sip the
It
you
actually
always have
does.
to sip the
Got
juice
him.
at the end. Yeah.
It does taste like the juice from the Golden Valley fruit salad can. It's got a little bit of sort of green grape peary quality to it.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
whether that's
yeah.
just now instilled in my head from you.
It's a Pavlovian response.
yeah, exactly.
Goulburn Valley Gold.
That's going to be the name of the episode. What are you drinking,
Golden
Tom?
Valley Gold. I think we
Yes.
might need to pay some royalties if we do that.
I doubt it.
I am drinking the Mountain Culture Staycation NEPA because I thought it was very appropriate for the end of lockdown. This is we have brewed this summer style New England IPA using our freshest New World hops to produce vibrant aromas of succulent tropical fruits that will have you reminiscing about those overseas beach vacations from your couch. Flavors of clean pineapple, passion fruit are complemented by silky smooth mouthfeel and the late addition of Sabro hops for complexity. Cheers to whatever is hopefully the last few weeks of this staycation as we look forward to the summer months. So, look, I may be a very unpopular view here, but I already miss lockdown because I can't play as many games as I can anymore.
I'm an antisocial motherfucker.
Also, I hate people,
so I'm
so
gonna
yeah,
miss
there's that too.
Yeah, I'm going to miss lockdown because suddenly it's been socially acceptable for me to do what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, ignore people.
I'm going to continue doing it after lockdown, but people are going to say, "Why don't you come out to the pub and fucking meet girls?" And I'm like, I just want to play video games. Fuck those. Fuck damn bitches.
Aggressive, but sure.
So, yeah,
anyway, so this
probably.
beer is it's tropical juice. It's a classic Mountain Culture NEPA. It does have a real hit of pineapple. It's got that like real citric pineapple.
Is it New World Staycation? Is that what you call it?
So Staycation Mountain Culture, but it has New World hops in it.
Oh, it's just Staycation.
Yeah, Staycation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a pretty fun can as well. If you want to look at it, it's like a lot of board games underneath the TV.
Looks like a bookshelf.
Yeah. Like it's very much like what people have been staring
A drawing
at
of a
in
house.
their in their lounge rooms. But yeah, there's a real pineapple hit. It's like got that real acidic pineapple, but not in a bad way. Like in a nice way. It's like it's that when pineapple like really cleanses your throat and palate. Like it really strips it, but in a good way. I know I've had problems with Sabro hops in tropical beers before when I feel it tastes a bit herbal. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast.
Yeah,
I don't get that from this. So, good use of Sabro hop. It's not like a smash in your face coconut either. Which sometimes happens with Sabro. But yeah, it's good. It's Oh, heaven forbid, Mountain Culture brew a very tasty NEPA. Oh dear, what are we all going to do? Oh no. But yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, very surprising, yeah.
Cool. So my fourth beer for the evening is the Double Butcher Double Red IPA by Co-Conspirator.
Yes! That beer is orgasmic.
Spectacular.
Oh!
The butcher has upped the stakes and is back bigger and bolder than before. His passion has grown, as has his strength.
My passion
and
has
he's
grown.
ready to carve out some sharp flavors. Ruby hues greet the eye, while aromas of orange, citrus, and tropical fruits envelop the senses. A medium-bodied, delicious red IPA with hints of toffee, caramel, and cola flavors, and a firm, lingering bitterness to finish. Hops Amarillo, Centennial, Mosaic, which are pretty mainstream, I guess. Malt, Ale Vienna, Redback, Toffee Malt, Shepherd's Delight, and Carafa 2.
So those, the Redback, Shepherd's Delight, and Toffee are all Gladfield malts.
Okay.
New Zealand Gladfield malts.
Yep.
Yeah, like yeah.
You guys have heard me on the podcast say that I hate red IPA.
Like an idiot.
Basically because I don't like bitterness in a beer. It's just it fucks with my stomach more than sourness does. But I've got to say this is thoroughly enjoyable, and it's got a sweet finish to it, which is surprising. I don't expect to taste sweet like sugar notes through a red IPA, which is traditionally a very, very bitter beer.
I mean,
But
depends
yeah,
on
no,
red,
this is
but yeah.
This is really well balanced. I've drunk most of it, so
So
I don't know why I'm showing you. But
that toffee, that Gladfield toffee malt is, you chew. So most malted grains that we get through, you chew and they just crunch out. So they turn into flour or crunchy caramel or whatever. That toffee malt is literally sticky. You chew on it.
Wow.
If you put more than a few grains in your mouth and try and chew on it, it just turns into a globby mess in your mouth. Like it is, you get that
paste,
in,
yeah.
and it's sticky as shit. And that would be where you're getting that sweetness from.
Yeah, there's still it is true to the text on the can. There is a long bitter finish to it, but it's not unpleasant for me because of the sweetness.
Good.
Yeah,
Maybe
very
we
malty.
can corrupt you that way.
It is delicious. Yeah, my bad experience of a red IPA was I've told this story a few times on the podcast. When I went to Lebanon, it was the only beer they had on tap in the only craft brewery in Lebanon. And it was a horribly bad, poorly made red IPA.
And I
And it was
thought they
just-
smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah, so I'm going to crack an old school West Coast IPA from Wayward just as a palate cleanser,
Yeah, nice.
as an unofficial fifth beer.
Yep.
Days gone. Have we got anything else to say about it, or do we want to kind of
I just want to really want to encourage people, if they haven't played it, and
Play the fucking
yeah,
game.
and if you're lucky enough to have a PS5, it does come as part of the PS Plus collection. And
Dan's very pissy with that. Did you mention that while I was taking a leak, Dan?
Me? Why am I pissy with that?
The fact that they've upgraded the graphics for the PS5.
Oh yeah, no,
see,
that's just.
I didn't get it. I don't think I got it. That upgrade. Maybe
Dan,
Yeah,
you did.
no, even
did.
Tom, just watching the clips that Pete put up of what you were playing
your
was,
gameplay.
was a better fidelity
Yeah,
than
okay.
what.
So what they did was, so they patched the PS4 game
because it
to
comes up as
up-
it says PS4 game. Yeah.
Yeah, so they patched the PS4 game to increase the texture size, texture quality, and the resolution, and put it out at 4K HDR for PlayStation 5. So, PlayStation 4
would that have
players,
hit the PS4?
the patch came out
The
6
Pro?
months ago. It's well before it was ever downloaded by URI.
Yeah, so that
So
would have hit
Dan playing on the PlayStation 4.
But that would have hit the PS4 Pro, so it would have been a PS4 Pro.
Correct.
upgrade, yeah.
No, it was written for the PS5.
Oh, okay. All right. Sweet. Yeah.
So the way I
just
read it
assumed was
is
a PS4 Pro upgrade, and we just ran with it. No.
no. So
Sweet.
well, Dan, are you playing on a PS4 original
No,
or Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dan
Yes,
looked
but
at
you need to delete
your
some of
video.
game history because you're clogged up more than
no, but
me after the 4th of July. I don't know why.
It did help actually too. By the way.
Yeah.
yeah, it would absolutely help. But because it's caching the data when it runs out of RAM. But yeah. So Tom, Dan's playing on a PS4 with the same patch you and I are playing on the PS5. The patch is specifically for PlayStation 5 players, but it was patched into the PS4 game.
Right. Okay.
So we are benefiting from higher texture resolution.
Yeah, I mean, as we should.
4K and all the rest
We've
of it.
paid extra for the newer console, so fuck yeah.
We were lucky in avoiding chipocalypse. I'm getting pissy now.
Yeah, that's why I think we should probably leave the last topic to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is already 2.5+ hours, so. Let's,
about-
let's call
about 2.5
let's call
hours.
the atmosphere topic for the next one or one after or when another game comes out that's atmospheric.
Atmospheric, yep.
Yeah, because I've got to go to bed too because I got a full day of work tomorrow.
Fair enough.
Also,
Is there anything else we wanted to say about Days Gone?
Before
we wrap?
just more. If you have been thinking about playing it, please play it, and you'll definitely surprise yourself.
As a self-contained storyline, like it reminds me of Last of Us.
They're not getting a sequel
from
as
start to
well. If
finish.
you were worried about that,
Yeah.
they've actually unfortunately come out and said they're never going to do another game for it,
Okay.
which is sad, and I'm very disappointed because I really thought they had
But
places to go.
respectable too.
But yes,
But
it's
respectable
self-contained
too.
story. It's yeah.
I think when game developers or movie directors or TV series
Yeah, this was
directors
the studio-
declare that
the
their
studio,
story
yeah.
has been told, yeah, when they put a line in the sand and say, I respect the work of art that we've created enough to just let it sit now, let it rest, instead of just milk the fuck out of it for revenue, I respect that strongly.
Sounds like June. Oh,
Then they're not going to let that rest.
No,
That's going to be 5 or 6 movies.
that was my definite like. Sometimes I amaze even myself. No, that was my one dig. I get one dig.
Well,
All right, so we're going to wrap.
Yep, let's wrap.
Gentlemen, it's been
All
an
right.
absolute pleasure.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the listeners that put us on the map in terms
Yeah,
of...
get to the top 20. That's pretty fucking amazing. That feels
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah, it really
Crazy.
does.
Makes me wanna sing
hit
the
us up
song.
on socials, subscribe on YouTube, and join our Discord. If you want a copy of the Discord invite, hit us up on social media or DM us or PM us or...
I have
don't
just
fucking know
joined,
the
so I will
terminology.
answer none of your questions. But I will just sing
Thanks
the
for that.
song.
It's very useful, Tom. Yeah, yeah. I should just have that repeating in the background. Anyway. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Boom. Hey.